Hello and welcome. It's time for more Call of Duty Challengers Elite. We are back. It's a brand new week and we have some great action for you. My name is Bryce, of course, bringing you the action through all the games we are going to have. And joining me here, of course, once again, Tan and Ellen. Ellen, how are you?
I am fantastic, Bryce. Thank you so much for asking. Honestly, I'm just super excited to get into these matches today because if it's anything like Stage 3, I know coming into this, this is going to be insane. I just have a feeling it's going to be crazy.
It certainly is. Tan, how are you?
Very excited, mate. Very excited to delve into season 4 here. It was a very interesting one last time around, not just in Europe but in North America as well. And of course, we've got that whole circus going on over there with a lot of teams change. It's unpredictable, but that's what makes it exciting.
It certainly does. And of course, we get to relive all of those moments one more time as we have 8 more teams joining us here in Challengers Elite. Some old faces, some new, but all of them looking to win out not only the regular games, but our playoffs towards the end. And here we go, of course, we can see in the European region, these are the teams we'll be currently looking at. August, Team War, Elevate, The Originals, Los Pepes, Amelia Strays, Mavericks, and Hot Tub Meta. Tan, any of these teams stand out to you?
Hot Tub Meta are standing out, but for the right reasons. Joe, Nolson, Defrag, and Zero coming in as look, we could be back in 2017 with this squad, but it's nice to see them coming in and eventually getting to see Zero in the challenger side of things. I know, he's not had much luck with his spot on London, etc., but at the same time, we did expect to see him in the challenger scene before this side of things, but at the same time, it's nice to see him eventually.
Yeah, it certainly is. Ellen, any of those teams you're particularly looking out for?
Yeah, honestly, believe it or not, Orglis. I noticed they actually made a roster change. We have Gizmo, who now joined, and Josh left. So I know Gizmo before that was on House Tarth, which we know that they essentially had disbanded because with Afro and Defrag gone, Afro to the Ravens. So I'm actually just curious to see what this squad has cooked up with the new lineup and see further progression down the line and how it works out for them.
Yeah, me too. Very interesting squad to keep on through that season. A lot of expectations from them as well. But talking about expectations, we now can tell you the schedule. This is the games we are going to be looking at, and you will see coming hot onto your screen. So starting up, we will have the final from last Challengers Elite stage. It will be Amelia Strays versus Elevate, and then the game after we will have the Originals versus Maverick. Then we take a short little break while Tan has his makeup redone, and we'll be flying over to the North American region. It will be UT Crew versus The System, and then Sobriety Gaming versus LAG Academy to round out the night. Ellen, which games are you most looking forward to?
I mean, this is a no-brainer. It's the Amelia Strays versus Elevate game. Just like Tun said, these are the former champs going against head-to-head. So first time around, it was Amelia Strays who took it out on top. And now let's just see if Elevate can come back with a comeback and maybe this time have it swing in their favor.
Yeah, it could be. I'm very much looking forward to see if they've improved in essentially what is a very short off-season for them. Tan, how about yourself?
Yeah, the Amelia Strays Elevate game has to stand out, but Amelia Strays actually losing one of the members from their team. Nuke J obviously leaving and Wardy coming in. We don't know too much about Wardy either. I know he's been around for a little while, but we haven't seen him on the challenger stage at all, or specifically in this game anyway. So they obviously have made a change after going on to win it, so it's one of those things. It was mitigating circumstances, at least anyway, for that change to come through. I'm excited to see if the change has brought anything different to the team or if they're just going to be just as good. I'm super curious how this one's going to go. It's going to be a good teller for the rest of the season, I think.
Yeah, especially after how they performed last time around, right? That was one of the big surprises. Yeah. Amelia Strays not only came into Elite, but pretty much dominated their way all the way through to the end, and it was the first time we saw them. Big departure from Nuke J there, and I'm sure many people are looking with peeled eyes to see just exactly how that one is going to go. And of course, there is lots to play for this season. Every team in Europe and North America trying to come out for a win and the lion's share of prize pool. And it's weird, right? We come to this stage of it and we're already 4 stages in and we're sitting here and it means just as much as when it begun, Ellen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just like now we're mid-season. Now it's really the time to turn up because, ultimately, I mean, like you said, you said it right there. It's more money on the line. It's just the same amount. It's enough. And with everything on the line, it's just pressure's on.
It certainly is. Well, let's start talking about our very first game. And of course, it is the big one we've been talking about. Amelia Strays versus Elevate and Raid, Search and Destroy. There is a map missing here that I am very much looking forward to seeing at some point during Challengers Elite. But before we get to the new maps being added into the rotation, Ton, what do we make of this?
Oh yeah, I'm also disappointed that map specifically isn't in there. Of course, standoff coming into the rotation. But to be fair, we had the discussion beforehand. We said we'd be surprised to see that coming in, just because, you know, of lack of practice for the teams to really nail down those strategies. Other than that, though, we've seen Amelia Strays. Well, I believe they closed it out on Checkmate previously in season 3. So nice to see some maps there on that side of things for them as well. But honestly, it's really hard to tell. It's a bit of a different map set to what we've seen in the grand final. So let's see if Elevate can mix it up here. They'll probably be feeling the more confident with Amelia Strays having to make the change. So Elevate would like to get a win here.
Yeah, they certainly would. And I suppose it's something we can talk about now and we will touch on a little bit later as well, Ellen. Obviously, with this change coming in, Checkmate S&D has been retired out of the map pool right now, bringing in Standoff, Search and Destroy. Now, Ton's already highlighted a great point here. There are teams who are very much used to playing on that, getting their wins on it, or being a strong map for them. But also, now that we got a new map in, it hasn't been played as much. How do you think this is going to affect team strategies coming into this stage?
I think that, I mean, there might be some teams that vote for that map because if there's not, you know, essentially if they haven't had the time particularly to practice it, then there might be some teams that want to throw that in the mix because of that fact that they haven't. So I think we may see it. Well, here, obviously we don't, because maybe for that factor, they haven't practiced it. But I think that strategies implemented, there might be just a team that want to throw another team off because knowing that they haven't practiced it, let's just throw it in there. Kind of a clean slate for both.
I like it. I like the fact that it's kind of thrown all the I like the fact that it's kind of thrown all the vetoes out of whack here, because sometimes these teams may be playing on a weaker map pool, and we'll see that as the stage goes on, right? We will see whether or not these teams have been significantly weakened or strengthened by the fact that a map has changed. A map that, by the way, I'm fairly certain was one of the most picked Search and Destroys we'd seen all. I know I pretty much saw it every series time.
Yeah, it was definitely one of the most picked, but not one of the most liked. But I think it was
good way to put it.
But it's true though. I mean, look, a lot of teams didn't love it, but it definitely was brought in a lot more. It's curious to see why that is. I think it's just because it was kind of a 50-50 at times. It's, you know, you can maybe bring something in, and there's not really much different you could do on the map. That was the thing. It was very standard. So I think if you were a better team and you hit your shots, you win the map. That was kind of probably the theory around it. But yeah, it wasn't massively popular, but played a lot. So it is going to mess things up for some teams in terms of how their vetoes work. And you're going to have to get to hands pretty soon with Standoff. I mean, as mentioned, a lot of these players will have the opportunity to have played it previously. Not many of them, but a few of them will have. And, you know, is that going to carry on? It's a long time ago, you know. It's a really long time ago. It's making me feel
I did not do well on that map playing it for the first time. Just to put that out there, I was lost.
It was like nostalgia land. I was going to say, it might be harder to play, too, because there's no smokes in the rotation, technically. Because I know before we had smokes for crosses, so now that that's kind of not into place, maybe we won't see it, maybe we will, because it's harder to cross.
Yeah, that was one of the big issues I found with this map so far, is that some of the old timing, some of the ways you used to play around the bomb sites has changed, bearing in mind that we've moved on considerably in terms of game mechanics as well. That it's not going to just be one of the same old back in the day strategies that you can kind of lock down. Essentially, you have to really think of it in a different manner. The nostalgia is great, but, you know, winning that map is much more important to these Challenger Elite teams. And speaking of winning, we should probably start talking about predictions before our two teams. Now, if you are joining us or didn't watch last stage, it will be Amelia Strays, who kind of have the mental game here a little bit. They did win last stage and beat Elevate. So Elevate with a lot to prove here with the roster change coming in. Ton, which way are you leaning in this one?
I'm leaning Elevate just because of that roster change. Obviously, we've seen a very close game between these two in the grand final last time around. So it's still hard to predict, but Wardy coming in for NukeJ. NukeJ was an important member of the squad, and the fact that he's out, it hurts Amelia Strays. Wardy, let's see how he comes on in and see how he does. There's no reason to question Amelia Strays picking Wardy up. They would have only picked up a very, very good player, but how limited was the pool of players willing to join the squad as well? That's got to be the question asked. So let's see how he performs. The pressure will probably be on Wardy, but I feel as if the actual team of Amelia Strays, the pressure maybe isn't there as much. I'd imagine they'll sort of ease their way into things. So Elevate, I think they'll take this one about 3-1.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Going for Elevate out of it because of the change. And you brought up a ton of good points there, actually, speaking about, who could they have picked up and who may have actually wanted to join this team. Bearing in mind that for this Challengers Elite, a lot of good players sitting outside it at the moment. Ellen, how do you feel about this matchup?
I was gonna say the same, honestly, Elevate, but since Tun said that, I'm gonna say Amelia Strays because maybe they'll have that just to go against them, and I do have a couple of points. Maybe they'll have that like honeymoon phase, with a new player on the roster. Sometimes teams do tend to perform better just in that honeymoon phase, and with Wardy. He previously just got second on the last Open with Detain Joe in Zero. So maybe just coming off of that, he does have the experience and they knew who they were picking up. So going into this, I think they might come on strong. Maybe just that honeymoon phase might be just fresh for him, just right.
All right, well, let's see if that is going to play out. The very first map of the new Challenger Elite. We are going to jump in, of course, Amelia Strays versus Elevate, and we will be kicking off with a brand new map. I'm actually doing a fly through of a different map to the one we are playing, but that doesn't matter because it will be checkmate hardpoint over to our casters for this one. Ellen and Tun.
Thank you very much, Brycey and Ellen, into stage 4. You've done 4 stages of codecasting now.
I can't believe it.
You should be perfect at it by this point. I mean, you've got the teachers of me and Brycey more than me, I suppose. But
oh, don't worry, we'll meet in a couple weeks. Yeah, it's definitely been a challenge, but super exciting to say the least. You guys have been wonderful teachers. You have.
Oh, thank you. Look at that. I was just fishing for compliments. That was the only thing I opened it up with. But Amelia Strays, inside the point. They've got the rotation for P2 as well as we do kick things off. But as mentioned, these two did face off in a grand final at the end of stage 3. It was Amelia Strays coming out on top of that one. Amelia Strays, though, losing Nuke Jet. Wardy comes in. And Amelia Strays are still contesting this point. However, Elevate are going to get the breakthrough. They will pick up the scrap time. It's all about the fight over towards P2.
Although Elevate does have the lead here, Amelia Strays, just like you said, is set up on that P2 rotation. And now Elevate, question is how are they going to break this here? And it looks like they're kind of going to push through the front, but they have to worry about Pero here. He's on the hill, and he does manage to pick out Denza now. Overall, Amelia Strays is doing a great job at holding there, and he doesn't get the third, but Hixie does get cleaned up there by Chacksters. The trades come in for Amelia Strays, and overall, nice hold for them here as they do take the lead change. And Amelia Strays looking pretty strong here onto the second hill.
Yeah, looking fantastic. It's all about that P2 rotation. Very well done for Amelia Strays to lock this one in. We talked about it so much, I say that, as they have held it for so long, but 3 kills start coming on through here for Elevate, and they should be able to pick up a bit of scrap time here. 16 seconds and pushing Amelia Strays in the back. Weeman now finding the kills here as P2 slowly starting to end. Elevate will just about get their claws back into this one, but as we rotate over towards P3, Amelia Strays are the first ones there and trying to lock down play. Now, Elevate, can you hit around the outside, start heading towards P4, and get some control of the right-hand side? Playing control is also crucial. Denza pushing through, finds one at Piero. We like this route from Denza as well. Can he find another on the Wardy? Not quite. The shots will eventually land, and Watson is there too. Denza and Bids fall. Amelia Strays doing well to battle through, considering they haven't really picked up too many points on P2. They get themselves a nice little spot. Elevate doing a good job of the contest here. It's been a bit of a scrappy hill so far, Ellen. Nobody really able to take the initiative.
Yeah, both teams are very evenly stacked, it looks like here, and Amelia Strays, they do win the overall rotation onto that underneath the plane here, and overall they still seem to have control, but they have Hixie worried about him on the flank, and they do manage to take 3 now. Elevate does seem to have a little bit of control here, but wow, shots in from Watson as he takes out that nice 2-piece, and overall, Elevate still have that street control, but the battle is going to start to come in as Watson's pushing through here. Now on a 3 streak. Couple shots into Weeman there. Weeman manages to get out with his life, but Hixie now with a beautiful 3. Elevate turning the tides onto this street hill here. Now they overall looking to take control.
11 and 7 out of Hixie. Denza and Bids there as well, helping him lock this one in. Can he continue though? He is going to fall. Amelia Strays are able to push themselves back inside now, and we'll start picking up points. 23 seconds or so. Wardy putting the shots down as best as he can, but here comes the collapse, potentially from Elevate, making the push on through. Hixie, can he do any better? It's going to be Wardy picking up 2. And speaking of him as well, in his first game, that's 3 kills in a row now for Wardy at 11 and 7. That'll do him a lot of confidence. Will give him a lot of confidence, I should say. Heading into these next few maps, it's got to be a nervy scenario. You know, it's your first map of Challengers Elite up against the big boys. He's definitely played in this sort of caliber of match before, but maybe not when the stakes are so high. Locking it down towards the back is Wardy, though. And what can he do with the Krig? Getting aggressive with it as well. Probably going to get caught out here, though, but does find the shots onto Weeman nonetheless. A little bit late for Bids to try and get the trade, but here comes Elevate, trying to push him from the front. Amelia Strays towards the back. Trying to lock this one as best as they can. 30 seconds here, Alan, and Amelia Strays have done well on this rotation.
Indeed, they have, and it just seems like Amelia Strays is always one step ahead on those rotations or winning those key gunfights. Overall, now Elevate looking to answer back here as they trap Amelia Strays in the back. But the nice 2-piece comes in. Now that's 3 down for the side of Amelia Strays as Elevate overall controlling that plane. Denza's doing a fantastic job at holding this, now getting set up at the new point. He's currently on a 4 streak, and I think they're looking to hold it here and have a potential lead change, and it looks just like that. But the contest is going to come in right now from Amelia Strays as they push into the plane.
Oh, Wardy. Oh, there you go. Finds 2 on his entry to the plane. Having a fantastic game here at 17 and 10. He seems to have just slotted right in to that Nuke J-shaped spot on the Amelia Strays roster, and it's just not just the Krig he can do it with. Wardy coming in there and getting the job done with a 7-4U as well. Of course, changes came across the board as well. The Krig buffed. Come a bit of a surprise to everybody, but nonetheless, the gun a bit more powerful than it already was, and Watson and Wardy showing it off here. 17 and 12, 19 and 11 respectively. Amelia Strays ARs currently dominating. Weeman 8 and 14. A little bit behind the curve here for the Elevate squad. Not something we're used to seeing from Weeman. Had a fantastic season last time around. But Elevate are going to be able to lock in these rotations towards P2 and should be able to regain the lead.
Yeah, and a beautiful kill there from Bids as he takes out Wardy, who was looking to break up that.
Oh.
And now Denza with beautiful shots in with that pistol in hand, but Chaxter does take him down now. Now Bids still has his teammates spawning in the back there as they have to worry about Chaxter pushing into the front, but Weeman coming alive as he takes on Perio. And can he get the second onto Watson? But no, Wardy does take him out. Now Wardy takes down 2, but overall it's still Elevate who's sucking up this hill time here, Ton.
Yeah, Wardy really stamping his authority on this game. The AR battle for Amelia Strays has been won, but look at the points at the top of your screen. Elevate's still in the lead here. Denza will pick up 2 in those final 10 seconds. May well go over towards Elevate. He finds another as well every single second of that scrap time. Should go over towards this Elevate squad as Denza now starts to rotate. They've got rotations for P3, and it's been a very, very nice couple of hills for the Elevate team. Looking towards the scoreboard there, Denza really having a solid game. Getting aggressive, getting in their face. We know Watson and co have been able to deal with them in the past, but not so much recently. Chaxter, 13 and 20 as well. He was a big reason as to why Amelia Strays looked so good last season. A little bit slow here, but Wardy definitely picking up the pieces at 27 and 30. It's a very, very close game still. Elevate around 30 in the lead. Denza's going to have to keep up this pace. There's plenty of interactions coming out of him, but the ARs of Amelia Strays is what's keeping them in it.
That indeed, and overall they still have control over this point, but Elevate definitely look to secure this first win here as they push through. Now Amelia Strays is set up onto that street side though, but Hixie, huge gunfight's gonna come in between him and Watson, and he does manage to get that kill on Watson's street side, but Wardy still going on a spree here underneath the plane, and now Amelia Strays, although Bids won that gunfight, they still answered back in control, and they still managed to have control and answer back alive here onto this street point, and Bids getting tagged up there, but still manages to stay alive as Denza gets a kill onto Chaxter. But overall, Amelia answering back here. It's just the battle of the Titans right now here. It's literally the battle of the Titans done.
Oh, it's back and forth, but it's Hixie leading the charge for Elevate in the hill. Such an even game. That's a good 20 points or so that Elevate can potentially soak up here. It doesn't look like Amelia Strays are going to fight her, but I say that Chakster from behind can't find anything, and all of a sudden, all the points lining up here for Elevate. Is this rotation going to work out for them as well here? Not quite. Piero's just going to get in just to disrupt these final few seconds. And just to force Elevate back as far as he can, because Amelia Strays are set up backward, and now they can lock in a good chunk of points here. And they're the ones that need it here, Ellen. It's about 50-point difference. Wardy and Co. looking to lock this one in. They need these points here. 50 seconds to play for.
Now the push is coming in through the front with Elevate. Hixie managed to take out Watson, but overall you have him. Hixie manages to get a huge 2-piece there that actually solidified the spawns for them. Now that's 3. Now Elevate easily managed to flip that spawns out, and those were just huge kills coming in from Hixie, and Bids does get tagged up a little bit as he does win that gunfight on Watson. Now the push is coming in from Amelia Strays. They have to figure out, they might be kind of panicking a little bit here. The deficit is getting closer and closer to that finish for Elevate. And now 2 go down for Elevate. The trades come in. Chakster looking to answer back now as he gets a couple shots into Wee Man, but Wee Man, huge kill on the Chaksters. They get that final scrap time, but now the big gunfights are going to come into the plain side, and Elevate already have control.
Just about. And 30 points is all they need. Amelia Strays towards the back, has to be said, for Wardy. No better way to start it, but you'd really like to see his team come out on top of this one. 35 and 19. Obviously finding kills, but is he finding the ones that is helping his team out get into this game? They do have rotation for P2, and they do have control. Game timer could potentially start to become an issue if this gets contested for a long while, but Watson, he's going to find 2. They should be able to lock this in. Look at this lineup. Another 2 for Watson. That's 6 in a row for him now, I should say. I was about to say a 4 and cut him a little bit short, but my goodness me, what a hold this has been for Amelia Strays. This is going to put them straight back into it. You would have thought the rotation to P5 where they locked that one in, that would have done the job, but Hixie, he slipped the net, and all of a sudden that scrap time is going to go over towards Elevate, but the rotations are what's important. It's about a 35-point game. It'll be about 40 or so by the time we do get over towards P2, but if you're Amelia Strays, you need to lock this in.
And they have to worry about Denza and Bids, who could potentially break this up and have every chance of ruining their dreams. Now, Bids, huge kill. Denza, they're both challenging from both sides. This is it. This is interesting, but Chakster's in the back now. They only have to worry about him in the back, and Chakster does get the kill. But again, it's Elevate who actually still have the spawns, and that's looking like it might be it for Elevate. Do take map 1, and this is just so close, but they're so far away. And wow, what a fashion for a start for game 1. I couldn't have asked for a better game here.
Fantastic stuff from Elevate. I think, honestly, you look at the game and how it played out, it was just the rotations. But for Wardy, I think it was important for him to come in and have a good start, and he has indeed done that. Finding multiple kills, but unfortunately his team not able to work with what he did give them. And as I said, I think those rotations were really what broke them down. There were so many times where you would see Amelia Strays rotate in nice and early, and then they didn't really get anything from it. On occasion, Elevate breaking very simply, on occasion at least anyway. And I'm interested to see if they can fix something up if we do see a map number 4, but Elevate, I'll be very, very happy with that. It wasn't necessarily the AR battle being won by them. It was just those rotations where the SMGs were there. They were getting up in their face. They were cutting off the lanes on those rotations. And that's ultimately what helps them go on to win it. Elevate take a 1-0 lead. Let's have a look back at that hardpoint. Some of the best moments. If you're speaking of any player in particular, you have to think Denza and Hixie on a lot of people's lips after that one. That was very well played on the SMG front for Elevate. That one from Hixie, the pick of the bunch.
Yeah, they were definitely getting those key kills, just like you said. The rotational kills and the breaks, they would just sneak by everybody and just manage to get those kills and somehow flip the spawn. And I think you pointed it out too during that game there, Ton. Wee Man wasn't having necessarily the best game, but overall, Elevate still managed to come out on top. So they definitely have to be happy with that one, considering Amelia Stray's ARs, they do look pretty strong right now. So somewhere they need to kind of tighten up right there, because, just dropping numbers and, like you said, it's just those important kills that really do matter, especially when it comes to rotations.
Yeah, fantastic stuff from the Elevate side. Nonetheless, I think when you look at it from that point, you're happy that your SMGs are doing their job if you are Wee Man in that certain scenario, because, okay, he hasn't been able to keep the AR front, and that has not necessarily been the case at all for him. He's looked fantastic every single time we've seen him. But when he doesn't, it's good for Elevate that they can pick up that slack if needs be. So fantastic stuff from the Elevate boys. But look at the Search and Destroy to contend with coming up next. I do believe we're going to be going over to Moscow, then Checkmate, Control. Apocalypse Hardpoint is there if we need it, as is Raid, Search and Destroy. Very, very well played from Elevate, though, on map number 1, and that'll ease the nerves of them as well. You know, they would have been coming into this one with maybe a little bit more to prove, I think. Especially after that grand final. It was so close, nonetheless. But at the same time, they want to come in. They want to beat that team who bested them in the previous season. For Amelia Strays, they've got the new man on the roster. It's just easing in. Yes, of course, they'll want to win this one. They'd take a 3-0. Absolutely, they would. But I think out of the two teams who needs the win more, I'd like to think it's probably Elevate.
I agree. Just the teammate, the level of teamwork that Elevate is displaying right now, and just like you said, with that roster change that Amelia Strays made, maybe it's kind of putting a little bit of strain on their, their team chem right now. Elevate's looking, the team chemistry within the side of Elevate's just looking a little bit stronger. So going into the Search and Destroy, which is obviously very, very much so team based, I just think that they probably will take it here.
Yeah. I mean, look, we have to wait and see. It's one of those maps that could go either way, but it's an interesting one nonetheless. Just very excited to see how this season does play out in Europe. You know, we have some new teams in here we haven't seen before, although some of those names obviously very well known. It's going to be an interesting season. I don't think anybody expected Amelia Strays to come in and do what they did last season, which obviously was go on to win it. But at the same time, can they continue that? Can they keep it going with the change that comes through? In Europe, it wouldn't surprise me if at this point they go 0-7, because that's how crazy things have been over here. It hasn't really made much, I say it hasn't made much sense. I think just the level has been so high. So it's interesting to see who's going to come out top. We've seen Oglis have a really slow season last time around. Can they step it up with their new change as well?
Team War.
At this point, it's just so hard to predict. I think we need to get this week over and done with, see where it lies, and then we can kind of get a bit of a prediction to see how things are going to break down. But nonetheless, very, very excited. And of course, North America as well is going to be kicking off later this evening after I've had my makeup done. Brycey, just like to mention that before. We will be jumping into that after this show. So there's a lot of movement going on in North America once again. Challengers were being hoisted up to the lofty heights of the franchise teams once again, Ellen, and it's going to be interesting to see how much of a difference that does make to the way the land is laying over in North America, of course.
I agree. There's not a single thing that you said that I did not disagree with there, Ton. And you mentioned Orglis. Team War was kind of one of those teams for me that, you look at them last season and they didn't necessarily have the best turnaround, but they made a roster change. So there's a lot of teams going into this that have been sticking around for, the first 3 seasons that are making changes. So I'm just excited. And like you said, we just never know what to expect coming into these series. You really don't.
You really, really don't. It's a bit of a circus across the board, isn't it? It's one of those where the teams on any given day can beat anybody else, and that's what makes Challengers so exciting. It's what makes Call of Duty so exciting. We know what Cold War has been like across the board. The results sometimes don't make sense. You don't see them coming. But it does very much make it entertaining to watch, doesn't it? But anyway, into the Search and Destroy we go. A hit, more than likely, is what's going to be coming through as Amelia Strays now will make their way up escalator, but Wee Man is ready, he's positioned. How have they got across unscathed? I do not believe nobody's died there. And Amelia Strays are just wolfpacking. Biz is going to find one. Can he find a second? Not quite, but Hixie is there to pick things up. Denza with the third. What was that round? My goodness me.
Wow. Like you said, how did they just slipped right past Wee Man there, but Hixie, huge 2-piece coming in from him. That's like one of the most impossible head glitches on this map. And I'm surprised to see. I don't even know. Did they check that there? I'm not even sure if they peeked that, but very, very good stop there from Elevate. Curious to see how they answer back onto this one now. And I believe looks like we might see a B push here, Ton.
Potentially. It looks like they're just maybe posturing. just to maybe see, once again the lay of the land. Wonder if Bids is going to try and pick somebody off this back wall as Formal did in the major. That was
that was crazy.
That was an interesting point. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he'll go for it, but nonetheless, the info is gained. That's all he's really looking for. And it does look like it's going to be a back off at least to mid map for Elevate. The setup is a 2-for-2 for Amelia Strays on the defensive side of things, but here they go through Street, and now the attack's coming through. Amelia Strays about to answer. Utility coming through is going to give Watson a good idea of what's going on. Just playing his life, best thing to do here.
Now the information comes in, so now Amelia Strays knows exactly where Elevate is that first blood,
Nice.
2 bloods come in from Watson. Very huge kills. Now Perio answers back with a third, and Biggs does manage to get that trade, but Wardy overall cleans that up, and very good positioning he was in. Now 4-1, currently on a 2 streak, and Amelia Strays answers back there, get the nice defuse, and now tying it up 1-1.
Nicely done, and it's all about Watson staying alive here. He'd already checked it, and then he comes out for the recharge as his teammates are there to do so as well. Good comms coming out from Amelia Strays, and a really good defensive round from them. I think it's at the point where Watson pops out of bedroom, checks it ever so slightly. It's a difficult spot to be in. Do you challenge to stop them planting, or do you play your life? He did the right thing, played his life. And all of a sudden it is 1 apiece.
Jackster kind of looks like, again, maybe just be playing for a little bit of information here, and Wardy's on that street side. Has that engagement from Bids to worry about, who's also locking down street, and looks like Watson does get flashed a little bit. Hixie has a little bit of information knowing that Amelia Strays is pushing towards A, but he gets stuck now. Watson, great stick onto Hixie as they have 1 down, and now you're going to see the flood come into that A bomb site here, and the engagements are going to start to fly now in a 4 versus 2, Bids and Denza. How are they going to stop this here, Ton?
It's a difficult one. Oh, that's a good start, though. Bids with the shots. Did he get Chaxter weak? No, he got out just in time. 3v2. Denza's going to be able to push around, finds Chaxter, but all of a sudden, he's now in a bad spot. Piero will come around and find another. Very well done. 2-1 now to Amelia Strays. Good attacking round. It's about those initial picks. The 2v4 is always difficult. Especially with the small choke points you've got to push through. Well played by Piero, finds the first down, the second. And the second round for Amelia Strays comes through.
Unfortunate sticky that Hixie had right there, because that's really kind of what opened up the site for Amelia Strays. And unfortunate turn of events, but Elevate now the last time around kind of played patiently here, and it kind of looks like they might have an aggressive potential mid push, but Hixie, kind of the star of the series here, taking it for the first map. Now see if they can kind of answer back. Now the trades are coming in from Furio. Looks like he almost had that kill, but he actually manages to get away with his life. But Weeman T kills. Bids does take down that kill. Weeman cleans up Wardy. There it is. Now left at a 1 versus 2, Watson. How is he going to answer this one back?
I think if you're a wee man, you've got no right to win that gunfight where he pushes through. That was ridiculous. That bomb is yet to go down, though. They're kind of waiting for Watson to make this push. I think it'd be surprising to Watson that the bomb has not went down. Are they trying to bait out B? Well, it doesn't matter. Wee man will catch him. 2 apiece now. Very much the mind games coming out. Yeah, from the Elevate side. Bids just spraying through the new Piero was weak. The 1 bullet connects, and all of a sudden, the map is tied up. Heading into round number 5, though. Watson standing out, doing a good job. Has to be mentioned, it was that play over towards B on the defensive side from him that really did keep Amelia Strays in touch. Very much could have been 3-1 to Elevate if it wasn't for him. But into this next round, as mentioned, and which way is Amelia Strays going to go? Just feeling it out this time around. We've seen some aggressive mid to escalate as strats, but not this time around. Looks more and more like a B hit, but it is going to be Bids. The sneaky spot. underneath the bus station. He should be able to spot a couple out here.
Yeah, Amelia Stray is looking to kind of have that fakey sight, but Bids now have to worry about Wardy. The stun comes through, but he manages to run away. Very smart by him on backing up, but both teams know that it's going to go down, and it's going to go down now at B.
Yep, it's just all information for Bids there. The fact he got out was just a bonus. Now Denza can push around behind. Nobody's watching the street, and there's two. And that really puts a dent in this Amelia Stray's attack now. Watson should get picked by Bids and does so. Oh, this is Bids' street. How dare you. Trespass on it. Piero now in a really bad spot, 1v3. And this should now be 3-2 to Amelia, to Elevate, I should say. It'd been quite something if it was 3-2 to Amelia Strays, but there you go. Another round under their belt. Elevate not quite walking away with this one, but they are in the lead.
Yeah, that was definitely a beautiful stop from Bids. That's a sneaky, sneaky spot. You got to be careful for it. Although Amelia did have the right idea, kind of faking it towards A, swinging it over that B street. It's just, it's very, very tricky. But now on the attacking side, Elevate potentially might see an aggressive push towards B here. They have Watson now, who's rotating over, kind of spotting that now. And the gunfights come in. He does manage to take out Wee Man, who might stop the push a little bit, but Hixie trades him out. Now Chaxter might get a sneaky play. He takes down Hixie. Now Denza runs away, leaving it in a 3 versus 2 for Amelia Strays. What looked like it could have been very good for Elevate getting that first blood, but the trades came in, and now Amelia Stray is in favor in the 3 versus 2.
Oh, well, that makes it doable. Now a 2 versus 2. It was already doable, but it is that bomb being down inside of B. That's the problem. I mean, the Strays here know that they do have to make the move over. 40 with the shots, not going to be enough, and Bids will find that one. Piero. Now in a 1 versus 2. If he can find a kill and get out, then maybe something could be done, but that's another round for Elevate. Starting to stretch away a little bit more now. 4-2.
Yeah, their Elevate's teamwork is just looking fantastic right now. When it comes to search and destroy especially, those team trades are just so important, and Elevate's just doing a very, very good job of getting those trades. But Amelia Strays down but not out. Now they're going to look to answer back on this side, and I believe here we're going to have an aggressive A push. Watson throwing down those trophies now, framing this outer, and he has Hixie to worry about. Just Hixie, but now if you take a look at Wee Man, it looks like he's going to aggressively push through the Eskies. He is blinded. They know where he is, and Hixie does manage to take out Chaxter now. Elevate already have numbers on the board. Watson kind of doing a little bit of a dance there, but Denza cleans up the kill, and the baits and the trades are coming in for Elevate here, Ton. Amelia Strays now. Pirio again last alive. Can he do it in a 1 versus 2? But they know exactly where he is, and it looks like for Elevate, easily cleaning up that round, and their teamwork is just looking ever so dominant here into the search and destroy.
Yeah, very, very aggressive from the Elevate side. Piero tried his best here. I even think if he found Denza here, then he's probably going to get traded. It's always such a horrible spot to be in. 5-2 now, though. Elevate really starting to stretch their legs. It's the ARs. Well, it's just across the board. It's been everybody, to be honest with you. Not really the ARs at all. Wee Man's 2 and 5, but really Elevate. When they're getting aggressive, I mean, the Strays are struggling to deal with it. The Stray is now set up on the defensive side. Not really much going on in this one.
Yeah.
It's very much a posturing round, isn't it?
Yeah, both teams, I was going to say, they seem to be playing very patient, but as we say that, Denza opens up the map again by killing Chaxter. Already, Denza's been a menace. The thorn in Amelia Stray's side. He's on a 5 streak right now. Now Watson evens up the odds, but the gunfights are coming in. Elevate again. Overall looking so strong, and it looks like they're going to push through here, but they have control essentially over Amelia Stray's side, and now Wardy and Watson have a lot to worry about dealing with Hixie, Bids, and Denza.
Yeah, that's tough. It's a difficult position to get Hixie out of because you've got to leave yourself in open space. Elevate will walk away very comfortably as winners of that search and destroy. 6-2 on that one. And you take a 2-0 lead in this series. And that's just a very, very aggressive search and destroy out of the Elevate boys. Defending well when they need to. Their attacking rounds were a little bit different here and there with some pushes through Eskies, etc., etc. But nonetheless, they walk away as winners with a very, very aggressive search and destroy. Well played. Honestly, they just got the SMGs up in the faces of Amelia Strays, and that's what really caused the issue there. Ellen, just a very, very good performance all
Yeah, most definitely. And their teamwork, like I said, it's just looking very strong right now. Nothing really particularly stood out. Just like you said, the SMGs getting in their faces, playing aggressive, getting those key kills. But overall, it's just the teamwork for me. The side of Elevate, they're just looking very strong. And, you know, Amelia Strays, not to deter them from anything. It's just that roster change, right? They're just still adapting, still in that phase where they're just making adjustments to a new player. And it's just the start of the season. So even though this is the first game, and even though they're down 0-2, it doesn't mean that necessarily that they're bad. They just have some things to work on, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. But overall, I think going against Elevate, they're not doing too bad, you know, especially with a squad like Elevate.
Look, I mean, you have to look at it at the standpoint, you know, they have obviously made that change. Things are going to take time to possibly move over with Wardy. Of course, they would have practiced with him. They have had some time, but it will take time at the end of the day for them to maybe get back to the level that we did see them at. And again, it's not exactly the easiest start, is it, when you're going up against Elevate? It does make things very, very difficult, but we will be loading into map number 3 very, very shortly, of course, moving over to Control, and we will be going back over towards Checkmate. Of course, Checkmate Search and Destroy is gone, so no more 3 checkmates potentially in a row at any point throughout the season. Of course, Control is one of those. It is a bit more of an interesting one on the Control side of things. You are expected to win your defenses as normal. However, let's see if any of the teams can put that point completely out the window. But I mean, look, it's a tough spot for Amelia Strays right now. But as I said, it's a difficult one to come into straight off the bat with a new teammate. Let's see how they get on throughout the rest of the season. But there still is a series to be had here. We may see Apocalypse and Raid if they do turn it on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I believe, isn't Checkmate Control one of Elevate's, like, really, they're a very good control team, right? So this is, I don't know, just good. For this being the first matchup, it's going to be very tough to take, but not impossible, right? If we do make it to Apocalypse, Raid, Hardpoint, I think that, or excuse me, Apocalypse, Hardpoint, that can go either way, because, you know, that's a fairly newer map into the rotation, but Raid, Search, and Destroy, if we do make it there, I would imagine... I don't know. It's just one of those Black Ops 2 maps, right? We wish it would be standoff, but Raid Search, it's definitely a good one. So either way, if we do make it to that point, I think it's going to be a good match regardless.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we get to a map 5 from this point, we're on for the reverse sweep. There's loads of stuff going on. But
yeah, then we're going to wake up.
Yeah, exactly. I hope to see standoff some point tonight. Honestly, I don't know if we will. I think we might have to wait until next week, potentially, to
the teams practice it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I think we might have to wait, unfortunately. But yeah, it's one of the all-time great maps. You know, for me personally, the last time I actually cast it was during a COD Mobile event. I remember me and Bryce came back to it, and I was like, they play across loads of different maps over loads of different titles, of course, and it was super interesting to see it on that platform from where it was in Black Ops 2. I mean, it's
especially
crazy,
on COD
crazy to see it on that side.
Oh
yeah, man, it was wild, but it was.
Imagine the speed might be a little bit slower, maybe.
Yeah, it was a little bit slower. It was a little bit slower, to be said, but it's super entertaining nonetheless. It's a very good map, literally etched into the stone of Call of Duty history as one of the best ever. Super good on Search and Destroy. Shame we don't have CTF for it, to be honest with you, but nonetheless, here we go into Control.
I was
imagine.
praying for that.
Don't.
I was praying for that.
Well, they
CTF
just
over
switch it up
control?
mid-season.
Yes, could you imagine?
Control's being binned. We're going back to CTF. Yeah, that'd have been something.
That'd be great. Well,
Into the control though.
yeah.
Yep. Let's see. There's going to be a B hit coming out of Elevate straight away. We've seen this tactic before. Lock this one in, and then the easier A one is a lot easier to hit, and they've not done too bad to kick things off. 2 kills coming through. Make that 3 from Denza. What is that? That's a very, very quick uptick on B. They're not going to quite get that second tick, but they get a little bit of progress nonetheless. But with them all falling, they're now in danger of being trapped in just a little bit as Wee Man is found, and now Amelia Strays in a good spot.
Yep, Chaxter looking to answer back, but take a look too at Street Side. Bids is over there just hanging out. He has actually touched A, but it looks like he's going to swing back over. And now Hixie, tagged up a little bit, does get taken down, but the trades come in from both teams as Perio gets a 2-piece, and Wee Man just overall looking to lock down this plane. Not exactly a kill yet in his favor, but Perio's kind of going off right now on a 5 spree. Sheesh. Pixie finally takes him down, Thorn in their side in their base. You always want to make sure your base is cleared, but now Elevate, clear out that point. Wee Man, 2 streak for him. Put my words into the dirt.
Yeah, he hasn't necessarily had the best of series so far, but he really hasn't needed to.
Yeah, really, you're right. You're right. The Bids and Denza are just going all of them. The subs are just absolutely tearing it up right now. But Amelia Stray is still looking to answer back.
Hixie not quite able to find that second. I mean, that would have been something. But Amelia Strays have really locked this in nicely for all we've talked about Elevate and how well they've played so far. Amelia Strays have done a fantastic job here. The Krigs completely on lock, and that B hit from Elevate right now seems a little bit silly. Amelia Strays lock in round number 1, but very much expected. The defensive side of things is the stronger, of course.
It looked
Watson
like a very good
nuisance.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looked like a really, really good start too for Elevate, as they had that those opening picks, but it didn't really seem like they could recover once Perio was in their base, kind of being a thorn and a nuisance, and they cleared him out. But Amelia Strays just overall trading and pushing up, keeping them trapped into their base. It just worked very, very well for them.
Into the second round now. Can Amelia Strays do what Elevate could not and win an attack here? Of course, Elevate just as well equipped on the Krieg side of things. Information is what they're searching for right now, and well, here it comes. Bids finds one, can't find the shots onto Watson. Whistling past his head, that. And all of a sudden there's some progress being made today. Bids getting aggressive here though. Bid map not being covered by Amelia Strays, and that's an ambitious chal. Look at the pressure that Elevate are putting on. As soon as they find one, they just move themselves up the map. Give Amelia Strays less room to play with. Trades coming through though, nonetheless. Amelia Strays making this push over towards A, but the lives very, very tight. Map control belongs to Elevate. Can they break through here, Amelia Strays?
Wardy find himself onto this A site, manages to take down one, and now Chaxter picks up the second, but he does get team killed there by Wardy. Excuse me, Watson had a team kill in there by Wardy, but flies and the trades come in, and now Perio's left alive, and he has to worry about 2 Elevate members as they push in, and Wee Man does get that trade out, so now it's cleared. Now you're going to slowly start to see that push forward from Elevate as Bids takes down Wardy now. And now they cleared off both points. So now Amelia Strays trapped in their base, and they have Elevate pretty much locking down every single lane. And overall, there's only 25 seconds left to remain. Elevate, the lives in favor for them. Looking to take it right here and even up the odds 1-1. It's looking really close for Amelia Strays to see if they can get out of here, but it's very, very hard to do so. And Chaxter does manage to get out, but again, this team falls, and for Elevate, just like that, I don't think there's enough time for Amelia Strays to get onto the point or cap. And Elevate take it in a very dominant fashion, just like you said, Ton. The defensive side is a little bit favorable, but both teams winning those sides, essentially they just need to take an attacking round right here.
It's very difficult to do, but I mean, I suppose you maybe don't need to take an attacking round. Just win all your defenses and you can win it out, of course, depending on who does get that round number 5 defense.
I think it's
Switching
based
sides,
on
though?
ticks, right? Ticks of progress.
Yeah, it's based on objectives, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now, looking better for Amelia Estrella. It's based off the capture points. I'm trying to remember specifically. Nonetheless, Amelia Estrella very much need a little bit more though, and it is a very heavy attack over towards B. Coming in here for Elevate. Oh, they're going to find some kills here as well. Denza playing on a bit of an island over towards A as the push comes in from B. The thing is, when you push from B, you can really start to cut off these angles like Hixie is doing right now. Just being a nuisance. The thing is, with what he's doing so well here is just playing his life. He knows they have to search for him. They have to get rid of him, which gives his team a lot more time to get a hold of A. 2 ticks into that one already.
Beautiful plays from Elevate. And just like you said,
Lovely.
they managed to clear it out. Hixie, but they have the ticks of progress in it. And now Wee-Man, huge
Oh my
2
God.
for him at B. Now having that plane control is looking a very, very sticky spot for Amelia Strays, as Elevate is just constantly trading out those spawns. And Wee-Man, a couple of tags into Ward, he does manage to take him out. And the Hixie gets the second. This is not looking good for Amelia Strays, but the only one that can really answer back that's closest is Watson. And that's 2 that he does go down. He does manage to pick up that kill.
He's done
Monta
so
picks up
well.
2. He picks up 2 beautiful plays from him. Left alive there. Now Hixie's still alive though. And overall, that was a beautiful stop in from Amelia Strays because it was very, very hard to do so.
The problem is that they're down by quite a significant amount of lives here. And they've just lost another flurry of gunfights. I was about to say, you know, if you find that wipe on the defensive side of things, you can maybe get something going, but it's all down to Chaksta. Finds 1. Not going to be able to find the second. Hixie finds it, and Elevate find the attacking round that they needed. 2-1 up with the defense to come. I'm not going to say it's in the bag, but surely things are going to be looking very, very nice for the Elevate squad. It's just the slaying ability. They got so much control straight from the rip with that push at B, which allowed them the rotation over towards A after Denza wins that gunfight. And really, the only reason that the round didn't end 20 seconds previously is because Watson clutched up, but not able to do it that time again. Amelia Strays need an attack to stay in the game.
Yeah, Watson really did clutch it up there just to extend a little bit, but seems like the overall speed too. Elevate, like you said, they just get they capitalize on the kills that they get and they push up and they just overall take that map control. So looking to close it out here, Elevate coming on strong into this series. And that they already have 3 down for Amelia Strays now. Wardy last alive into that plane, and Denza, man on a mission, looking for this player. Team shots come in. I mean, I don't even think Chakster had a shot right there. Elevate's just looking so strong right now in terms of their slaying power, excuse me. And Watson, I'm not sure if he managed to get that streak off there before getting taken on by Denza, but with them being trapped in their favor here, Elevate, again, just looking so strong. I am not sure exactly what they need to do to clear it out, but overall, it's tough. It's tough, but Chakster's on the point. Might be able to get a couple ticks of progress here. And
I mean, you can see when Watson brings out the artillery, it's desperation time, isn't it?
yeah.
You need something to come off for you if you're Amelia Strays. 26 seconds remaining. We don't even have a takeover towards B, and while here Elevate come with their streaks as well, it was bound to happen after that previous round. And that's surely going to be it. Amelia Strays, they need to find a perfect break. 3 of them have fallen. Watson in the middle of the map. He had the heroics in the previous round, but it's not going to be enough in this one. Elevate so dominant, and I tell you what, after losing a grand final to them in Season 3, the fact that they've come back and 3-0'd them in the first game of Season 4 of the Elite Challengers, that's a big statement from Elevate. They're out for blood this season. They'll be looking to add another crown. Fantastic stuff from them. They'll take the first series yet.
Yeah, very, very strong performance from them. A statement they made indeed. And, you know, I think even one of the players, like I said, Weeman didn't even really necessarily have his best game. We've seen him popping off. I think he was just sitting back, maybe just having a couple drinks, just relaxing while his teammates went out. But dominating stuff from them, and overall, they are looking really strong. Easily the top team right now in this series.
Yeah, it certainly was. Well, the question was asked before this series, of course, just what is going to be the difference? Amelia Strays, champions of the last stage, coming up against Elevate, the team they beat several times, looking like a very different team. Do you think, Ton, that this is Elevate have got better, or Amelia Strays starting to struggle now?
I think a little bit of both potentially. You know, Elevate looked really, really solid there. But as we mentioned, you know, Wardy coming in this Amelia Strays roster, it's a change up for them. Things have definitely changed around. When one of your main ARs leaves, you have to kind of change everything up a little bit to a certain degree. Yes, you would love them to slot in there, but it's so many different things. Yes, okay, they've had the time to practice. They will get better as time goes on. They were a surprise package last season. You know, maybe some of that momentum has went away from them a little bit, but nonetheless, Elevate, it has to be said, that wasn't just a 3-0. That was a comfortable 3-0 as well. They were super, super happy with that one. Amelia Strays work to do stuff.
I would even go so far as to say there's more than just work to do, right? We're talking about a team that, admittedly, Stage 3 came out of nowhere. But yeah, they did so in dominating fashion. They beat everybody. They come into Stage 4. They don't win a map in their first game. Admittedly, Elevate, probably the best opposition they could possibly face, Ellen. But is this signs of bad things to come from Amelia Strays or just a blip?
You know, I think it could just be a blip. Just the fact that, like, I agree. Everything that you said is absolutely correct. Like, at least maybe just take a map against a team, you know, that you beat last stage, and essentially you beat everybody. But maybe just that roster change really did affect them. Some teams it helps, some teams it doesn't. So with a little bit of time and practice, maybe go over some VODs and figure it out, you know, that recipe that they need to start winning again. I think they just need a little bit more time.
I can see that. The only bit that gives me worry about this, I suppose, is the fact that if anybody here, and I'm sure many of the fans have, keeping any eye on Watson's social media, I don't think he stops playing. I'm convinced that guy doesn't sleep, you know? He basically lives and breathes Call of Duty constantly. So when we start talking about more time and getting it with here, I'm like, this guy's doing 24-hour days of COD almost, right? He goes and does chows. You won't see social media without asking for more high-level games. And the problem being is that when you go into this kind of format now, everybody is looking for those weaknesses, looking for those early games. Could be something that affects you later on. Going through that gauntlet when you get into the knockout stage and then into the playoffs. Last time they didn't have to do any of that. They were top of the pile. They had to win like 2 games to win the entire of stage 3, Ton. It's concerning to say the least.
Yeah, it has to be, and I think further to your point that Watson doesn't stop. You are very right. I mean, he was asking for Charles an hour after they won the grand final of season 3. Just go downstairs, order some food, have a beer, mate. You've done it, fantastic. But no more Charles. So the guy's very, very committed. It has to be said. And yeah, okay, there's a lot to work on. I think one thing you can maybe point towards specifically, that Wardy had a huge game in map number 1, 40 plus kills, but then they still get beat by 60 or 70 on a map like Checkmate, where your ARs are super influential on the game. Yes, okay, you have to say Elevate played well at the front foot. Their SMGs were frying, to be fair, but you have to turn those 42 kills into something other than a 60 to 70 point loss or something like that along those lines. So you can maybe look at that. Maybe is it like unnecessary kills come through? Is he positioning himself in the best spot to help the team out? I wouldn't want to read into it too much, but maybe it's something they can look at after this and sort of say, right, okay, well, maybe we could have repositioned there or something like that. So I may be nitpicking, but it's something they can look at.
Yeah, 100%. And of course, let's move away from the negative now and talk about the positive here. Elevate, great start from them, really making an impact for every other team that now has to face them after. Not only do you take down the reigning champs from stage 3, but you do it in a comfortable fashion. Obviously, coming second last stage, they are certainly going to be trying to win this one in a very good position to do so, with them probably what a lot of people would argue is their hardest consistent competition out of the way, Ellen.
Yeah. Yeah, if that was their hardest competition, I think they're in a really, really good spot. I mean, essentially, this team has been together since the second Open, and they've seen nothing but success since then. First place, a couple of the cups, second place, third, fourth, I think they got once. But overall, this is a top 3 team, no contested, if not the best. And if Amelia Strays was their best contending team, or, you know, potentially the team that they would lose against, they're in a really good spot.
Yeah, they certainly are. Well, from the game we just saw to a game we could potentially be jumping into. So let's talk about the game that is currently going on. I believe we are going to see Hot Tub Meta versus the Originals at some point that is currently in this game. This is where we are so far in it, though. Raid Hardpoint went the way of the Originals, 250 to 212. Search and Destroy Express, though, brought back by Hot Tub Meta. Unbelievable name there, by the way. Game 3 currently ongoing, though, Raid Control, so we will update that as soon as we are ready. So we should theoretically be able to jump into Checkmate Hardpoint, and obviously we will update you on the score as soon as we know. But Ton, what do you think about these two teams?
I think there's too many jokes that are potentially going to get me fired with the Hot Tub Meta team, and we need to maybe get them to change it because I don't want to lose my job. But honestly, I mean, the Hot Tub Meta team, you look at it, and it is kind of, it's not a throwback, so to speak, but, you know, it's a lot of players who've been around for a long time. They're very well versed in Call of Duty. They've been around, and I'd argue that some of them will absolutely know standoff like the back of their hand, but at the same time, they haven't made it through, and it was really surprised. I thought Zero would walk straight through back into this sort of level as soon as he jumped in to that team with Diva and of course Afro, who was on there, etc., which was House Tarth originally. I thought they'd be straight back, but to see this roster with players like Joe on it as well, it's super interesting to see how they're going to do. Of course, they have that experience, but can they keep up with some of these teams who have come in and just look surprisingly very good? And I think I just want to go back to the point that we were making about, is Elevate's hardest challenge going to be Amelia Strays? We just really don't know yet. There's so many of these teams on paper who look incredible. We don't know what Oglis you're going to get either. They've got Gizmo coming back in after being in 2 grand finals in the first 2 seasons, and I don't know, it's super difficult to call. You never know who's going to turn up this season, so I just don't know yet. Elevate winning that 3-0, it tells me a little bit, but not a lot.
I think for me, at the very least, when we start talking about these two teams as well, like, first of all, just gonna put this out there, big fan of Zero. I feel like I haven't seen him in forever. Obviously,
that's what I mean, yeah.
That's ended up happening and stuff. So, gonna get to see him for the very first time, which is something to look forward to at the very least here. And I did get an update there as well. I believe the Originals won the Control 3-2. Does mean they'll be 2-1 up in this series. So while we were talking up Hot Tub Meta and the teams we are taking a liking to, obviously they are currently down in this series here. So the Originals return for people like Rafi into this one, Ellen, and I'm sure they'll be looking to try and get that top 4 slot and not have to go through qualification again.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this team, Fierce, Grad, Hockey, and Rafi, like, they've been playing together for a while, right? Fierce, originally the original member, going from 17th and 32nd placing to 5th, 6th, and then now they got 4th in the last Open. Progressively, they look like they're getting better. So clearly already being up 2-1 against, you know, big names like, you know, Zero, Joe, Noslin, and Frag, like, it's just, that's kind of huge. So, I mean, like Ton said, you never know really what to expect from these teams, and I just feel like every season gets crazier and crazier and crazier, and with some of these new names even in here, you just really never know what to expect. But overall, with this original squad, it looks like they're really doing good, sticking together and working through those kinks. So looking to take this one here, we may see the Originals do it.
We certainly will, and that's the thing, you know, especially in these early games, like, we speak about it because it ends up going so fast. I don't know about you two, but for me, certainly, when we start talking about the Challenger Elite, it seems like it's already over. Like, by the time we get the second, I was like, oh my God, well, they've already played X amount of games. They play games off stream, and I'm like, we're trying to work out who they've beaten and all the things that ended up going on here. But it kind of actually hits home that every single game we do see is important in the general standings of things. Obviously, our last 2 teams don't even get a chance to kind of redeem themselves. And you've got everybody from 3rd until 6th. They've got to try and get to the knockout tournament, play more games to get into the playoffs, where they're facing the big boys who haven't lost all season long. So the better you do in every single game, the better you will be at the end of the season. And of course, better placement means more money. So I would hate to think any of these teams, and I'm sure any fans out there, that none of these teams are going to be coming in lightly to any of these games. While they're not directly, for the big prize pool, we're not playing a grand final here, they do matter in the grand scheme of things, Tom.
Yeah, they do. It is important to have a good off season, but to counter your argument, we've seen Oglis go 3-4, then win it. So I mean, it does make your job significantly harder, but it's still important to finish in that top 6 nonetheless. Doesn't matter how you do it, as long as you do, you've got a chance. But absolutely, I believe you are very correct. At the same time, you still want to make sure that you are pushing on through as best as you possibly can. But if you don't, you've still got another chance. It just makes your job so much harder at those final stages.
Okay, here's the question for Ellen, obviously, with your competitor background. I'm going to ask you a very pointed question here.
I have a competitor background as well.
Yeah, but we won't talk about yours. Somebody who's actually decent, all right? Okay, here's the thing. As we speak about, and we speak about this every time we talk about Challengers Elite here, do you think it's easier or harder the later you go into the stage, considering there is more VODs not only of your gameplay, but potential matchups as well? So the opportunity for people to learn your breaks and your strategies, but you get the opportunity to learn theirs. What do you think? Which way do you think it is?
I think it just depends on the team, because I agree with you. I feel like in the beginning, I feel like it can go either way, because obviously no one really has set strategies out, and essentially everyone's new to the game. But as the year goes on, everybody does learn the game, and it does get harder. And realistically, I think it depends on you and your teammates. And do you do your homework? Do you watch VODs? There's some teams that may not, or at least, and now in this day and age, they do. Back when I played, some players were like, oh no, we don't do that. Let's just, so it's, the mentality has changed, I feel like, over the years, from at least when I competed to now, because I feel like now that there's more events on the line, there's more money on the line, people are taking it more and more serious, as opposed, when I played. But overall, I think it just depends on the team. As long as you do your homework, it's going to be challenging. I think it will be challenging because more players do know the game, but it might be easier if you study the other team and their gameplay, because then you know how to counter them. You know what to expect.
I can see that. I think that's super interesting, and the way this ends up breaking down as well. And obviously, right, this is very much a topic of conversation at the moment, because EU is famous for hiding as much as it can. We know that we're not allowed to stream S&Ds. We know that players won't stream their games as well. So even things like Challengers Elite, maybe the first opportunity you get to have a really good look at a team apart from scrims, which, teams may not use their best strategy, maybe trying something out. It's not always the clearest thing. And also, so Vito's play into it as well, right? You got to try and figure out where's your strongest map pool and everything else. But no, I thought it was a really interesting topic, because obviously we are seeing more and more of the Challengers Elite teams pull coaching staff in ton and take this more and more seriously as we ramp up to the climax of the season.
Yeah, we are. And one I wanted to talk about specifically, actually, was Team War. Nvidian now going in that coaching spot, and they actually brought in one of the players completely. I literally had it in my head right there. Second to Yakko, of course, from Mavericks coming in. So to see Yakko on that roster instead of Nvidian, Nvidian was the one that has kind of been criticized for the most part across the whole of this roster's sort of existence, and him dropping down to that coach role, is he going to adapt into that as a former player immediately? Is he going to bring the right kind of advice, with Yakko now coming into the team as a new voice in there as well? Coaching is a big thing, and I think for the Challenger side of things, I think it was actually previous Team War last year, we've seen them have a lot of coaching staff on their side of things since Black Ops 4. So to see that sort of thing, yes, okay, it's fantastic for these players to have it, but we're seeing it more common now. And I think it's brought that elevated level, hasn't it? But I think that comes side by side with the Elite Challengers existing. It becomes a lot more serious for these Challenger teams. They've got a lot more to play for this year. So these guys coming in, it makes a lot more sense now. There's a lot more time to be played. There's a lot more games to be playing, so there's a lot more VODs to be reviewing. So you need somebody on the side who can help you do that job.
Yeah, you certainly do, and I'm glad. I think it's a big opportunity for these players. We know already that franchises are getting more and more involved in the Challenger scene. We know that they are looking for their next breath of talent to potentially revitalize some of the franchises that may be struggling. I'm not going to name any names. Another thing we were saying, and this is the thing, I was trying not to laugh during that segment, because we're talking about the players taking this more and more seriously, right? And obviously, as guys, we can see basically what's happening with everything in the background here. And I can see the chat between the players as they are in this lobby getting ready for this game, talking about things like sides and hosts and so forth. And I won't mention the player, but he says, I don't care about the side, my controller's broke, just get the game started. And then 4 other players said, yeah, mine too. So obviously they're still having some good friendly banter between each other as they wait to get into this one, and of course so are we. But I suppose one of the things we have to kind of bring this back to at this stage, because we have gone off the tangent while we wait for this gameplay to start, is even though the Originals are currently winning 2-1 against Hot Tub, do we think that is going to continue to play out that way, Tom?
It's hard to say. Look, we haven't seen much of these two teams specifically. They are very new, very fresh. So for these two, look, I'm not saying any of these names are going to be down there, but they are new and fresh. You would expect them to kind of be fighting to make it through to that final playoff stage, of course. They don't want to be relegated. They don't want to have to re-qualify. On paper, you would expect them having to be fighting for that, which sounds crazy when you see Defrag Joe Zero on one of the rosters. Like, we're talking about like 2 members of Red Reserve who were one of the best teams Europe have ever seen in previous years.
Yeah.
But now in the Challengers pit, it's sometimes a little bit more difficult, to be fair. And then now they're coming into this and they will have to make sure they are playing top level Call of Duty. I mean, kind of going off topic to a certain degree, Zero was saying it is so difficult in this Challenger scene. Everybody wants it so much. So it's really hard to call which way this one's going to go, but it is an important game for both these two teams. As said, they're fresh to Elite Challengers. They need to come in and do a good job. This is a game that they're going to need to be winning, because I don't know how many they're going to pick up over the season. It's very difficult to come in against some of these established teams when you're pretty fresh yourself. So it's a very hard one to call.
It certainly is. And I can now finally reveal, fingers crossed, that I have in my corner of my eye, looks like the game is starting. There we go. We're switching into it now to remind you of what we are going to be watching this time around. The Originals versus Hot Tub Meta is the current game. And at the moment, the Originals are going to be leading 2-1. And we are going into checkpoint hardpoint. I think I've done enough talking. Over to our casters. It's time now.
Thank you. I've done that so many times. It is difficult.
Okay. Yeah.
Checkmate hardpoint, yeah. That was the right way to say it. No, never mind, here we go. It's going to be interesting. The Originals coming in here, they're very much a mix of experience and a mix of new blood. Of course, Hoki being around since, God knows when. Hot Tub Meta, of course. Look at the squad that they have. It's experience through and through. It's very curious. It's going to come down to these ARs and what they can do. I'm super excited to see how Zero is going to do in Elite Challengers, though. Really should have been competing in the franchise side of things. Got done over by some, coronavirus and visa-related issues. It's a tough scenario that he's not up there fighting against the best. But, hey, he's now here in the Challenger side of things as well. This level isn't much further down, if not just about alongside the franchise squad. So let's see how he does here.
Yep. And right now, the Originals looking like they have a really hot start, but Hot Tub Meta, they do have control over that P2 rotation, but the Originals looking to answer back. But Hot Tub Meta did a beautiful job clearing out their base, and now the Originals, although they have the lead, they're going to have to worry about how to break this point. But Hot Tub Meta looking to be in a really good position here as got Defrag roaming out and pushing out the Originals as far as they can. And overall, Hot Tub Meta doing a very, very good job at just holding down this point. And essentially already having a lead change. Now they're going to start worrying about the rotations towards the next point. But they did very good textbook hard point right there. The Originals didn't really, they couldn't even get a foothold, even close to the hill there.
Yeah, look, it was just a really nice hold. They held down the right-hand side towards P4 very well. Zero locking down the green side of the back of the map, just so well played. And as you said, Defrag out expanding, causing problems in the middle of the map. Just as pretty much as clinical as you could possibly. That isn't clinical, though. You're finding your teammate with a sticky grenade coming through. Obviously, the Semtex not necessarily ideal on the back of Joe's head, nonetheless. Onto Meta, trying to get themselves involved. Grad and Co, though, trying to find kills. He's kind of on his own a little bit, so he's just trying to do as best he can. Joe will find those kills. Onto Meta, who got the favourite spawns. They do want to kind of be on that side to make this push over towards P4 in just a second, but some playing control alongside it wouldn't go amiss. Very scrappy down here, as it often is. Good stuff by Zero, playing that aggressive AR role. It's the rotation over towards P4 that Hot Tub Meta are now thinking about a 30-point lead here as well, though. Raffi finding 5 in a row isn't going to really find Originals too much of it. It's only really Grad towards the back who could have done anything. He goes down. Very, very good rotation out of Hot Tub Meta once again.
Now Nolson, who's not having too bad of a game, 6 and 4 now. It's a couple shots in there onto Furious, but looks like the Originals has a very good position to collapse onto this point, but Hot Tub Meta overall getting the key kills to stop the push, as the teamwork is just excellent. Defrag manages to clean down 2, and now Hot Tub Meta flip out the Originals, and now they are spawning on the opposition side. So now the Originals need to either chalk this or just rotate to new. But Hot Tub Meta overall just locking down the map, have control, and Grad does manage to clean up 2 kills there in the plane, and the Originals do get that scrap time onto that point, but Hot Tub Meta overall have spawns for that new rotation, and Grad looking to see how he's gonna break this one as he tags up Defrag, but Hawkeye gonna try to help pick up the trade, and Hot Tub Meta again with 3 down. The trades is just, and the speed from them is just so beautiful right now as they look to hold every single second onto this new rotation.
Absolutely calamitous if you are the Originals there. You're setting up for this rotation and bang, 4 of you are dead. Just like that. Playing control, these aggressive fights in. Pretty even trade here, but Zero's going to have to do his job on the point now. Nolson's there to help him out. He is going to fall, but Nolson finds a second. Just 3 kills coming through for him. Defrag finds 2 of his own as well. This is absolutely clinical from the side of Hot Tub Meta. 15 and 9 out of Defrag, 12 and 7 out of Nolson. AR players finding kills and not dying is a big reason as to why they find themselves in a good spot here. It's going to be about 100 points. It is going to be over 100 points by the time we get back to P1 after 1 rotation here. What a start for Hot Tub Meta. They're looking to force a map number 5 here, though, remember. Found themselves down here 2-1 after the Search and Destroy and Control go the other way. First hard point went over towards Hot Tub Meta. That was on, of course, I actually can't see what the map was. We did have it up before, but never mind. Nonetheless, it's 2-1, and Hot Tub Meta need this. They're doing well so far.
Yeah, and Zero, what a play from him. As you were talking, I was kind of looking at the mini-map there. Zero flanked all the way around blue side to that mini plane. He went up and he flanked the Originals, got 2 kills. I don't know. He just went on a 5-3 before getting shut down, but he completely flipped the spawns for Hot Tub Meta. Beautiful plays from him, and they didn't show it, but still, it was just beautiful because, again, he solidified and secured spawns for their team. And now 14 seconds left remain onto this point. Originals do pick it up, but again, they have to worry about how to break Hot Tub Meta onto these setups, on these rotations.
Yep, it's one of those where if you are in the lead by such a significant amount, you can kind of, I don't want to say forget about a hill, but you can kind of just half concentrate on that. But then you know you've got this P2 rotation. We know how influential the spawns can be, and that's what they've fought for ahead of everything else. But they need to be making sure they hold them, and they have actually now been flipped. So all that work undone in an instant as Originals now have a potential route to get themselves back into this game. Joe and Nolson will find kills to try and break back on through. Hawkeye, he's been playing against these guys for years now. Each iteration of Call of Duty has passed by, but still Hawkeye, a man who can find a plethora of kills. Nonetheless, though, it is going to be Hot Tub Meta coming out just about on top of this one. It's still going to be about 100-point lead by the time we head over towards P3.
Yep, and on those rotations, again, the Originals are set up, but in terms of getting those important kills and those trades, Hot Tub Meta has been the one to shine. Now Joe, let's see what he can do. Is kind of dancing around the plane there with Raffi, and he does take him down. Now securing this hill time here as he takes down 2 now. And 4 streak for Joe. Not a bad game for him. And now Hot Tub Meta, again, overall, just have complete control. And now the Originals, this is looking to be a very bad position for them. It's just it's just there's so much dominance for Hot Tub Meta. How in the world can they break here? But they have to play complete perfect hardpoint from this point out if they want to secure a win.
Yeah, you know you're in trouble when Joe is positive. That's always an issue. It's not somebody who puts up the hugest of numbers, but when he is putting up a positive kill to death ratio, it's a difficult spot for the other team to be in because we know he is frying. We know he's causing all sorts of problems. Zero now pushing in as well. He can just do it with everything.
Yeah, with only 8 seconds left on remain, this is just looking more and more like it's going to be Hot Tub Meta who shine here. But again, forcing him at 5. That is exactly what they wanted to do. D-Fred with the 3. Oh my god! He is shooting rockets right now. 250 to 109 in a very convincing fashion. I mean, we didn't see the previous 2 games, but wow, what a performance coming in from... I'm never gonna get used to saying Hot Tub Meta. I'm never gonna get used to saying that.
No, I'm telling you, I'm getting fired this season. It's happening. There's too many jokes to be made on that name. There's just far too many. Anyway, nonetheless, a very good performance from them there on the hard point. They won the first one as well, so is it maybe too much of a surprise? I don't know. But at the same time, it's still a very, very convincing map number 4 win heading into the final map. Will give you a lot of confidence if you are Hot Tub Meta. If you're the originals, though, it's one of those you choke up. You just sort of say, right, we got outplayed in that one. Let's just make sure we look it in for map number 5, which they've given themselves the opportunity to get to with a win on Search and Destroy previously and then a win on Control as well. I don't know, though. It's a tough one after that. We're going to be going over towards Raid as well, and we know all these players on the side of Hot Tub Meta have played this one multiple times over multiple years, although it's been in the rotation for quite some time now. Can the boys on the originals get it back here? But Hot Tub Meta there were flawless. It is as well as you can play it. Checkmate hardpoint.
Yeah,
from their side of things. They're so good.
It just looked so good. And I really wish we did see the first few maps here, but like you said, the originals kind of just need to chalk it up and pretend like this map didn't happen and go into that Search and Destroy with a clear mindset, because essentially it's tied up and it could go in anyone's favor. So Hot Tub Meta, what an exciting performance from them, though. Again, they just look really, really strong. And I mean, if you want to compare it from the game that we did see, maybe Elevate might have a run for their money here with this team, huh? I mean, in a convincing fashion, like in the league, just almost 100 point clubbing a team. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. Almost. I didn't say they did. Almost. But yeah, it's tough to say, of course. We're only getting started. It's overzealous. We're only getting started here, so.
Yeah, there's loads of Call of Duty to be played, of course. Week number 2 coming up next, and then we finish things off in week number 3 on both the Europe and NA side of things. Only one more season to go. Bryce sort of touched on it at the beginning of the broadcast as well, didn't he?
I know.
It's starting to get into the tail end, aren't we? We're nearly there now. Of course, the major at the weekend just gone, or the weekend before, I should say, it was fantastic. Things are starting to crescendo towards the end of the season. But towards the end of this series is what we're at now, and Raid Search and Destroy is coming up next. Hot Tub Meta won that Search and Destroy, I should say, sorry, and that was a 6-3 to them previously. Is this the right word? I'm confused, completely confused what was being the information that had been sent over. I thought it went the other way. You know what? It doesn't matter. Either way, it's map number 5. The original Search and Destroy and Express was won by Hot Tub Meta, and we go to another Black Ops 2 map in Raid to finish things off here. Should be an interesting one, but trading hard points, are they going to trade Search and Destroys? Is it really going to come down to that control? It's very much can be a swing mode, can't it, when it comes to that third map?
It really can be. It's tough to say, too, because, you know, this is an old school map, and this is a map that we know that, you know, at least the Zero's played on, and I don't know. It's tough to say, but trading hard points, can they do the searches? Going in from that last map, I don't know, the momentum from Hot Tub Meta, I just feel like they're gonna come out super strong here. I can see them taking this home right now.
Yeah, I mean, that was a comfortable performance, wasn't it, on Checkmate? So you can kind of say, yeah, all right, the wind may be in their sails, but let's wait and see. It's a map that can play very, very differently. It's a map that I absolutely love for search and destroy because you really can go either bomb site. Of course, one in particular is a little bit more favor, but there's a few different ways you can play it. It's just a super interesting map, and there's a good reason why it was brought back. Let's be honest, Raid, sensational, and then of course we're gonna get Standoff. I please somebody just play it tonight, please. I love to see it. I totally understand if teams aren't gonna play it. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I don't care. Just get it in there.
We just want to see it. Yeah. Have you had the chance 100%. Of playing it yet? I haven't. I haven't had a chance to jump on it yet.
I don't want to. I don't want to ruin my good memories of it with my bad gameplay, if I'm honest. We'll stay away from it. But at the same time, I'm excited to cast over it. I mean, we were saying before as well. It feels like so long ago. I'm gonna have to remember all the callouts once again. I mean, you were just rhyming them off as a player, but at the same time as a caster, for me, when I move on to a next year, the callout immediately just goes. I couldn't tell you what a Modern Warfare map was called, to be honest with you at this point. It's gone out on my brain. It exits as soon as it's ended, to be honest with you.
Well,
so I need to go back and relearn exactly all the callouts. But absolutely fantastic map. That was just so many legendary moments on it as well, isn't it? Specifically in CTF for me, but at the same time, it's a solid search map, and excited to see which way it is going to go if we do get to see it. I hope we do, and we'll try and force the players to play it, but nonetheless, we get to see it at some point down the line.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't help, too, when players usually repeat their callouts 3 times, so,
it'll be
in scrims, and it's completely different, so I don't blame you for not remembering them, because it's a lot to remember, especially when you've been casting over the years here. I mean, this is just my first year doing it, right? So I can only imagine, but imagine that, Standoff CTF, that would be pretty cool, but either way, I'm really happy it's back in rotation, and I hope we get to see it, but I don't know, I just don't think it's enough time for teams to practice it. We may not see it tonight, but it'd be really cool if we did.
I was speaking to a couple of people that was going to potentially throw it in. I'm not going to put any names out there to who could potentially throw it in. So that was kind of giving me hope, because as mentioned, I spoke to one of those teams who were thinking about it. So it's giving me a little bit of hope. We'll wait and see, but hopefully we are going to be loading in this one very shortly. A couple of players just waiting on a couple of things coming on through, and we will get this one started. And then, of course, we've got other games that are going to be coming up after this too. So the Search and Destroy, once it's done, we'll go to a break and we're straight back in with some more games. I'm curious. I'm very curious at which way this one's going to go, but I do believe we are loading it up into map number 5. The first game for these teams and Elite Challengers, and it's going to come down to a Raid, Search and Destroy to take it away.
Perfect timing, I was going to say, because I was like, all right, what else can we talk? I was thinking in my head, what else can we talk about? Sometimes it's a bummer, but hey, that's what happens when you're online, right? Just some of those issues come in. But
we have to fill it LAN as well, Ellen. Don't worry. When we get back there, you just be ready for that pain also.
Yeah, I'll be ready. I'll be ready.
The hardest thing to do as a caster is just to talk about nothing for 2 hours. Just do it.
But back to the game there. We got a first blood for the originals. Fierce gets a nade kill there and takes down, and now it gets 2. Grad. That's 3 down for Hot Tub Meta. I'm not even sure what, everything just fell apart. Nolson now is last alive, top pool house, but 3 players to worry about. They know exactly where he is. He's gonna have to worry about Fierce. Klaus, who's waiting down there at the bottom for him, and slowly the inchworm, the gunfight may come through, but it's a test of patience right now. As Nolson looking to pick up this kill, gets tagged up, but no. Last alive in a very sticky spot. The originals take that in a very convincing fashion, leading now 1-0.
Yep. Big hit. Over towards pool side coming out. From the side of Hot Tub Meta. Not able to find anything with it though. It's round number 2 though, and it's their turn to defend. It's usually an A hit, obviously, that does come out. I would say, what, maybe 60-70% of the time?
Yeah.
A bit of posturing being done here, though. It is allowing Hot Tub Meta just to get a little bit more control of the map. think it's defrag that's going to put them off moving in any direction, but Joe's going to get tagged right up inside of Tiki. He's going to have to back on down. Has to drop back. Now it's a little bit more control for Originals, who are potentially going to look for a pick here at B, but is it just a distraction tactic? Possibly. I think if you're Originals, you just don't know that it's wide open over towards A. You're going to lose the bomb inside the kitchen as well. Not ideal. Got to go for the retake. Defrag needs a little bit of help from Zero, but it's been perfectly read by Raffi 1v1.
Now in a 1 versus 1, and that's crazy because I thought they were going to plan an A. The A bomb site was completely cleared. Hot Tub Meta was all over B, and now the rotation does look like Raffi is going to swing that over an ace in the A favor. And now with only 22 seconds left on the clock, Joe might not catch him off the plant, but now in a 1 versus 1, they might come in contact here in the art or get that COD timing.
He's been so close to seeing him so many times.
I know.
Oh, has Raffi heard him? Yes, he has. And that is a technical 1v3 out of Raffi for a 2-0 lead.
Wow.
His teammate gets traded there. There's one, there's two.
That was good patience from him because at first I thought he was just going to run right in there, but just pre-aiming that angle and waiting while I believe there was someone hiding behind the pillar there on the hot side of Hot Tub Meta, and just beautiful. They lined up right for him. 2-piece. The Originals coming out on top on this one so far, 2-0. Hot Tub Meta though, looking to answer back for an aggressive A push, and now Raffi up into this laundry window. Already down 2 for Hot Tub Meta as the Originals stop the push. Now Zero looking to answer back on this one, and I don't know exactly how he's going to do it, but very much still possible.
I think it's the position of the bomb as well just makes things so much more difficult. It's not like Hot Tub Meta can say, right, okay, well, let's get the hell out of A. They're forced out of it in the end. Look at the shots that come through here. It's Grad, finds Nelson, and he's like, yep, I'm chilling this. I think Zero must have been shot by somebody else, unless Grad's one-tapping people. My goodness me. 3-0 now, though. Very, very well played so far from the Originals. Hot Tub Meta. A lot of work to do to get back into this one. But a good start would be winning your defense here.
I was going to say, there was a Krieg buff, but that's the only noticeable difference. Not that good, but wow. But on the offensive side, yeah, Grad's having a really good game. 3 streak for him, 3 streak for Raffi, both 4-1. Test of patience here is both teams just kind of scurrying for a trade, but Joe pushed up in a very good position. He might actually catch off Grad in the back, and that he does, and he manages to stay alive. Can he get the second kill on the Klaus? But his teammate cleans it up. Now the trade is coming in. Joe, what? I don't even know what just how. Wow.
Call-outs. It has to be. Oh my goodness.
Hot Tub Meta shot through the wall right there. Is Raffi now left in a 1 versus 2.
I mean, Joe just played that absolutely sublimely, but Raffi now, as mentioned in that 1v2, still on that 4 streak from that 1v3 that he pulled off. Can he catch defrag on rotation here? Oh, he is going to spot him out. But really, Raffi knows exactly what he needs to do here. Can hold it from bedroom, but choosing not to necessarily make the move up there just yet. They'll probably expect it. This is such a hard retake for Hot Tub Meta. He could be hiding absolutely anywhere. Are they going to be able to catch him off guard, though? Not quite. Oh, Joe finds the bullets of Raffi, but defrag is there for the trade. And plenty of time to defuse. Hot Tub Meta will eventually get one on the board. About time. And it's all down to Joe in the middle, isn't it? Hopefully we get to see that again. Joe on the flank, something you've always got to be wary of.
Ooh, I was for sure furious at that trade there, but then, wow, what a cleanup in from Nolson and the teamwork. Very good stuff from Hot Tub Meta right there. They needed that to get on the board, that's for sure, because pressure's on. You know, usually you hear players say, we need to get this round, we need to get this round, and they needed that to swing the momentum in their favor now. On the attacking side, though, Hot Tub Meta looking to answer this one back and look looks like, again, they're going to work towards that A-bomb site. They're going to have to worry about Raffi now, who's posted up into that laundry, and Furious Klaus, who's also at that pillars.
It's a lot of control over towards AF here for Hot Tub Meta. They're going to head through laundry, and Raffi gets caught with his pants down. Joe now going to get this bomb down. Is the trade going to come through from pillars? Yes, it is. Grad is able to check that immediately. And you've got to wonder, somebody on Hot Tub Meta, why are you not watching that one? It's a typical spot. Oh, Furious not able to get around the back. Defrag, I should say, is going to find that one. And now is the push just going to come through for Hot Tub Meta? Oh my god, Grad. Help me, please.
A bunch of ants
this
with
bomb's
pants.
going down. Hokey now in a 1v3.
Very tough indeed, too. Zero lighting him up now. The whole team of Hot Tub Meta know where Hulk is. And just like that, easily take him down. Textbook. Now swinging another round in their favor. Not necessarily have the lead yet, but the momentum has changed as what it looked like a lead was stealing away from Hot Tub Meta, but now they bring it back 2 rounds in a row for them. But now on the defensive side, gonna have to see what the Originals can do here. Normally we see a patient push, but I think this time we actually might see an A hit from them.
Oh, this first kill's big. Oh, Joe's got super aggressive. I'm surprised he got as far as he did. And in that scenario, yeah, I'm all for the aggression, but he needs a bit of backup. The rest of the team,
Yeah.
I don't want to say they left him out to dry, but not ideal. And now they can plant for a hold towards laundry. Hot Tub Meta going to try and break that immediately, though. This is a big gunfight coming up.
Brad, I think, just fell off the map.
Did he fall off? That's not ideal in any stretch of the imagination. All right, it's still 3v3. If you're Hot Tub Meta, that's definitely going to give you a bit of confidence, though, but Furious will find round from behind. That should really do it, but Zero coming around on the flank through Art isn't going to be able to do anything. Grad is counting his lucky stars that the team win that round.
And good stuff from the Originals, kind of recognizing that Hot Tub Meta has left the ace point open a couple of rounds, so they kind of capitalized on that and just realized, okay, that site's open, let's aggressively push there, throw our trophies in, do whatever we have to do, and then boom. And then, I don't know, maybe Joe wasn't used to them, kind of all of them pushing that site, but yeah, he kind of got caught with his pants down, taken out, and then they easily were able to capitalize on that. And good stuff from them recognizing it. So now Hot Tub Meta on the counteroffensive side, attacking. See what they can do here, but both teams fighting to take this one here to be up 1-0 now. Joe, good shots into Furious as they're already opening up the map here for his team and not looking to be in a bad position to do so to get a plant, but looks like Joe's going to hop on, get the plant off, and now they have to worry about Grad right here through this pillars.
Oh, he's made a good push as well. Gets out with his life. That's massive. They know he's there, but they need to push out themselves. Now, Defrag somehow wins that gunfight. Hokey falls as well as he overextends, and all of a sudden it's Grad on an absolute plate for Defrag. Look at this for the best player.
Wow.
Swings himself out. Raffi gets gunned. Hokey caught in the middle of nowhere.
Let that happen.
And then the
can't.
trade comes through here.
You can't. You can't let that happen. Oh my goodness. Well, all right.
Defrag 10-4, man. Into the next round then, Ellen. And, well, I mean, it's swung back and forth, but Originals will feel like they should be away from this now. Then that was Raffi who found the 1v3. It could have been 4-3 to Hot Tub Meta if he didn't do that. Furious going to push through. He'll get caught out immediately. Joe was ready and waiting. Typical laundry push. Grad, be careful. Trying to find some information here, but not allowed much of it.
Now being stunned, they know exactly where Grad is as Joe and Defrag are just kind of waiting patiently in that back laundry area, just putting themselves in positions to trade, really. is exactly what Hot Tub Meta is doing. And Grad does take down Zero at the distance there, but Hawkeye gets to trade out. And again, Hot Tub Meta put themselves in perfect positions to trade in the back there and did a very good job at solidifying that round.
Shots from Zero, helping opening things up here in that round. 4 apiece now. Be rude not to go to a 6-5, wouldn't it? Let's be honest.
Of course.
I wonder when they win it, though, how seriously I'm going to be able to say Hot Tub Meta. If they do win it, of course.
Oh, my goodness. Well, the stun check comes in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bit of info.
The originals are going to back down from that one. Both teams just kind of being patient here.
Yeah. Feel there's out a bit of information. That's all they're searching for at the moment.
Wolf being tied now is just a little bit of a pressure on. Just want to be safe than sorry. So the push comes in through Hot Tub Meta.
He didn't see them. Joe catches him off guard. That's a good grenade over, though. Joe falls 3v3. The jig is up, and all the originals know exactly what Hot Tub Meta are pushing. Furious, though, is going to be able to check that immediately. Knows he's going to get pushed, so backs on down. Very smart play. Defrag now. Not in an ideal spot, but keep an eye on Nolson from behind. If he finds one, he probably gets traded anyway, but this is looking like a 5-4 lead. Defrag, can he get out? Oh, no, he cannot. 5-4 now. Originals on match point.
I don't know. Are you surprised by this one? I honestly, I was kind of expecting... I was kind of expecting them to take off with this one, Hot Tub Meta, but I'm not gonna lie. But it's, again, it's Cold War. You just never know what to expect, and of course, it's just amazing just to even see this map into the rotation.
Yeah.
It's amazing to even see right here. But 5-3 now, 5-4 now for originals, and on the verge of winning.
I think Defrag has really dragged Hot Tub Meta to this point, though. Oh, look at this aggression coming through. It's been read very, very well. Nelson will get the trade. 3v3. And that kind of works out in Hot Tub Meta's favor, though, because now the originals are like, right, okay, well, what do we do? Are we being flanked? Are we not being flanked? Furious has to go back, and it is going to slow the round down. Hot Tub Meta commit everything to B. I'm probably just going to wolf pack around here. Oh, did he get spotted? I think he did. And they'll know the transition's going over towards A. The pixel is all he would have seen there towards the backward Nelson. Now they can't see them moving over. They know it's an A plant, but aren't they going to expect 2 from behind here, the originals? They kill. Zero finds it. They can slowly work their way now. Still 35 seconds on that bomb site. Plenty of time to try and find these other 2 members. The flank being watched here by Joe, expecting stuff to come through from Kitchen. They didn't see Hawkeye, though. They didn't see him. There's Nelson down. Can Zero find the kill? This is massive in the round. Hawkeye falls 1v2. Furious with the shots into Zero. Surely the trade comes through. Round 11 we go. Fantastic retake from Hot Tub Meta. And we get blessed with the round 11.
Wow. I don't know if I particularly agreed with that spot that Hawkeye was sitting in, but it just seemed a bit hard to challenge. But then again, they didn't necessarily know how many were there on the flank, but good stuff from Hot Tub Meta now evening up the favor. And wow. Round 11. On the attacking side, Hot Tub Meta, how are they gonna do this one? They're going to play it slow. They're going to play for picks. We're going to play aggressive. And it looks like the level of aggression might be coming in. Couple in mid. Bomb is swinging towards A. But that is down 1 man. They did lose Nolson.
Yeah, the bomb carrier is not the best site anyway either. And then commit to A or get out and try and do something from there. Look at how deep Hawkeye's playing over towards B. But that bomb is going to go down today, so it's momentarily a 3v3 at the site. And they will get out here, Hot Tub Meta. They just need to hold their sight lines. Grant's already in and around the bomb site here as well. Nobody even watching the bomb. They're just watching flanks. They're just watching pushes. Need to check it in a second. Zero being caught though. Shot's going to be coming in from the side as well. But is Rafi going to be there for the trade? Grant finds one. Rafi finds another. It's now defrag in a 1 versus 4. This will be something. There's one, but he's going to get traded. There's the game. There's the series over to the original. 6-5 in the search and destroy. A very, very tight game, but they will take it and want to start to their Elite Challenger Series side of things now. Big, big win for them.
Yeah, and this is a team that has been together for a little bit, and wow, just going from a 17th to 32th placing, 5th to 6th, 4th, and then now winning your first game here in Stage 4. I think that's good. Clearly sticking together has its benefits, and they just did that. You can just see the level of improvement as just showing, and honestly, they did a really good job. I think they really did a good job at just the teamwork there at the end.
Yeah, they certainly did. Well, congratulations to the originals. Great start for them coming into this stage. Unfortunately, the hot tub meta looked like they were going to kind of regain and come back into that one after a slow start on the Search and Destroy. But I'm sure they will be trying to put this down as just their first loss and not worry too much about it. But what a way for the start of Stage 4 to kick off, Ton. We already saw one game and we thought, you know, the grand final might be the one to watch, but it turns out we got a Game 5 round 11 off the rip.
Yeah, on paper, the previous grand final was definitely the one to go to, wasn't it? But then this one, very, very close between these two teams who... I'm curious to see where they're going to end up towards the end. Both obviously know what they're doing. That Search and Destroy was back and forth. The series completely back and forth. A hard point apiece, an S&D apiece as well. Comes down to which way the control goes. So very, very well played from both two teams, though. It provided an entertaining match nonetheless. But yeah, excited to see a lot more.
Me too. Speaking of seeing a little bit more, we can bring up the schedule and show you exactly what we expect to find on broadcast for the rest of it. Of course, we started off with Elevate, taking down Amelia Strays 3-0. Coming up next in the EU region, however, the Originals versus Mavericks, so a team just coming off of that great win 3-2 against Hot Tub Meta, will be playing again after the break. Then we say goodbye to Europe and we say hello to North America. The UT crew will be facing the System, and then Sobriety Gaming versus LAG Academy. A ton of great games to come onto this one. And of course, the fact we are going to see the Originals again. We just watched them, but they were in the schedule book, so we will get a chance to see whether or not they can do another win here in the books or start to benchmark these teams. It's always the same way every time we come into Challengers Elite, realistically, Ellen. We say, hey, these are the great teams from last season, but here are 4 more teams coming through, and I guess now we get to judge the Originals versus Mavericks.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, between these two teams, I look at the Originals just from watching that game, and I look at Mavericks, and, you know, Mavericks, they essentially lost a coach. Yako used to be in that squad. Then I believe they qualified with Vicol, and then now they have Real. So they had 2 roster changes, and they lost a coach. So I think going into this, that might not swing in their favor. And I mean, just taking a look at Originals and what they did, with them being a team for long, they're kind of more, for me, the team that's a little bit stronger here.
Well, we'll find out, of course. So much more to come on this broadcast, including our very next game. Do not go anywhere. Challengers Elite will resume with the Mavericks versus the Originals right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome back to Challengers Elite. We have more great games coming for you here from the European region. My name is Bryce. Joining me though for this broadcast, Ton and Ellen. Ellen, how are we feeling going into this second one? I know you were very passionate when we were in that break talking about some of these teams and stuff that's been going on.
I'm pretty excited. So far, I mean, we've seen a couple of not expecting games. I mean, Elevate, of course, coming out with a dominant fashion 3-0. I mean, they were looking really strong last season, still continue to do so. So that was kind of not expected. But this original squad, kind of like that was an unexpected, I guess, win against Zero and Squad. Excuse me, Hot Tub Meta, should I say, rather than team name that I'll never get used to saying. But yeah, going into this game against Mavericks Gaming Club, I'm curious to see what they'll bring to the table and see if they can come out with a clean 2-0 for the day. But the Mavericks Gaming Club squad, like I mentioned, they just recently had a roster change. So curious to see how that's going to work out for them, and maybe just see, they might face some challenges, but overall, see if they come out on top.
Yeah, we certainly will, of course. The game we are talking about, Mavericks versus the Originals. And this is how it is going to go down. We start off with Moscow Hardpoint, go on to Express Search and Destroy, then Raid Control. If it doesn't end there, though, we will be going to Garrison Hardpoint and Raid Search and Destroy. Ton, this Mavericks team, a lot of expected out of them, but it's not always been plain sailing, but they are at least in Challengers Elite.
Yep, back in, we've seen some fantastic gameplay. Specifically, you remember that Express Search and Destroy that we seen against Elevate? My goodness, that was what was it? There's 2 1v3s from Super, so maybe we see a little bit more of that. Once again, very disappointing that Standoff didn't make it through. Sort it out, please. But nonetheless, a very good map pool for both these two teams. Interested to see how Garrison goes. We haven't seen that today yet between them, if we do need it, of course. But this Maverick squad should still be very, very good. They looked solid last season as well. Yes, okay, Jakob moving over. They've lost one of their big players, but it's an opportunity to see Vikal and see what he does in this squad and see how good he looks specifically. There's so many good Spanish players that have just fly under the radar. And they come through and they do fantastic. I mean, look, Hydra kind of just appeared out of nowhere from France as well. Like, you know, these teams in the mainland Europe area kind of just bring these players in who have just been insane players throughout that scene. So let's see what he's about.
All right. Well, it looks like this game is about to get underway. Jumping onto our very first map, of course, Moscow Hardpoint. And we'll see if the Originals can capitalize on this one.
Well, here we go then. The Originals, as mentioned, had a good time of things in the previous game, but Mavericks, honestly, I am expecting them to win this one. They looked solid all of last season. They beat some very, very good teams. We're lucky not to beat Elevate. So yeah, okay, the roster change has come through, but they're a solid squad. The foundation is still there. Let's see if Vikal can step up to the plate. Am I saying that right? Are we going to have an argument about this?
Well, I'm sure any social media or YouTube chat will start throwing it correctly. It will be the first time in my career that I've ended up saying a player's name wrong for the majority of a series.
That's every day at this point.
Yeah, we'll keep a close eye on it anyway. But of course, the big thing right now, rotation to P2. You can see Mavericks are in position. It's going to be Sucre looking for Grad. Lots of sliding going on at the moment. Grad a little bit hesitant, but will come out and get the gun. He eventually taken down by Eric Boom. But now holding it, a slow but sure push coming in from the Originals. They try to gain some ground here. Rappy playing it smart on street, but gunned by Super.
Oh, Super's just took the top of his head off there. Vikal comes through and finds another of his own. It's a good start here for the Mavericks. It's a little bit of a precarious one as we made our way over towards P2. It was a tight hold from Originals on the street side, but couldn't get anything going with it. Super's doing a good job back police at staying alive, but he eventually falls. And which dominoes will fall after him as well? Vikal, is he going to get away? How has he found that kill? My goodness. All of a sudden, Mavericks have got 24 points to play with. Originals choke that one up. Very good start for the Spanish side.
And be careful there, Rafi. Obviously, he probably will get the scrap time on it, but it's all about the rotation now for the Originals. They've got to hold this one down. Pressure coming in from the Mavericks. You can see them spread out all the way through street. Going to be looking for this player gold, and it might be Dorky. Gets great timing, finds one, gets away as well. And that is going to force the Mavericks to try and reevaluate this push. Hawkeye doing great work here to hold it down again. Eventually, the numbers, though, will tell. Suba comes in and clears them out. But they now have the time, and it's ticking up for them. And you can see Mavericks trying to stack here. Looks like a bit of a split push. They're going to try and commit at the same time, punching through the front ton.
Trying their best to punch through. It's a difficult one to hold sometimes if you are originals, but look at the trades coming on through. It is eventually going to go their way. 5 in a row from Grad. And a good series from what we've seen of that last game. Now it's another chance for Mavericks to try and break through. But 25 seconds to play with here. It's not really a great deal as that falls to 20 very quickly. And well, that's going to be it. Mavericks are probably going to give that one up. Just going to try and get some sort of control towards Bank. As Sukri expecting Furious around the back. That's going to kind of be the one that they can try and rely on to break on through. But Super has done so well there to find 2. And that's going to slow down the push immediately.
It really is. This is a very much back and forth depending on the rotation, who ends up holding it so far. At the moment, Mavericks will now start coming under pressure. They lose 2 to the originals. Noviklaus now flying out, trying to get his kill on the back of Bus. He does get it at the same time, and Mavericks now reeling from the pressure coming in. Rafi gets another one, and somehow the originals completely break this open and reject all of Mavericks.
They've done well. They've done very well. This one's swinging back and forth. It just seems whoever's on the rotation will, well, get the points. A bit hard for some of these teams to try and break on through. Grad, oh my goodness me. We're seeing some big players out of some big players on each of this team. 2 for Grad there. And this is going to be completely held. We're going to be heading over back towards P1. Mavericks are in control of that, and of course of P2 spawns as well. But for all their good start, they really haven't had a sniff since, to be honest with you, Brycey, and it's not been good.
Well, P2 is certainly one of the hills you want to get some points on, and that's where the majority did come from. But Mavericks now going back towards P1. Not in the greatest of positions, actually. You can see very crucial gunfight by Elevators. Hawkeye eventually takes it down. Pinch is coming into the hill right now. Mavericks under pressure, but will get the kills through it. But Rafi will rip P2 spawns away from them. And now it becomes a question of, can Mavericks hold on to P1, get these timings, and then try to figure out a way to break back through? And it will be Vikel who's trying to do it.
Not going to get through on Mavericks. I'll tell you what, there's not a lot of people back there though, is there? Yes, okay, the spawns are going to come through for originals, but if you're Mavericks, you can try and make this push through. Rafi 11-5 right now. Doing a really good job with the AR side of things. Vikel though has had not too bad of a start at 9-9. Super 13-8 though. How often were we seeing him go off in the finals towards the end of Season 3? Good hold by originals so far though. Well played there. They're able to regain some of this decent lead that they did have previously.
Well, this comes the big push now. Mavericks have got to try and make this work. Hawkeye though is pretty much shut down a big portion of that push, and Sigrid now going to find it, and Hawkeye goes to the pre-fire. Clearly a call out from his teammate to shut it down, and now they're going to be trying to push through that choke point. If anybody has ever played this map, they know how horrible it is to try and push P2 through that doorway, and you can see complete rejections of Mavericks. Mavericks almost giving this up by the look of it.
Yep. I mean, that's the best thing to do at this point. Try and get yourself set up for library hard point. But they set themselves up quite high up, which is the only thing. You have to be careful of somebody slipping the net in. Well, you can see in the bottom left on that minimap, Hawkeye has got all the way behind. If you're originals, you take your time. You wait for Hawkeye to do something. You pinch together. You should be able to take this. It all rests on what Hawkeye can find.
It certainly does. And the best thing is nobody has died yet. This is the funny thing. Because nobody has died, Mavericks have no idea. They can't rely on spawn manipulation to figure out the Hawkeye is there yet, because nobody has died. But now it's been seen. Suba's now trying desperately to fight for it. Vikel gets one through as well, but the Hawkeye wins the gunfight. And now that should give the team the spawns. They're going to have to try and fly through this to shut the door on Mavericks. As you can see, they are now going to try and hard push to the front. Big fight coming back into library here. And while originals do have the spawn, they do not have control.
Wow.
And Eric Boom and Super combined to shut them out and say, no, it doesn't matter. We will take these points here. And now it's a foot race. We go over to Street to see whether or not the originals can rebound from what was a disappointing break.
Yeah, that's not how I thought that would transpire. Honestly, you see Hawkeye at the back. He finds the first kill as well. They get spawns. You think, all right, GG. But my goodness me, Mavericks hold from the front very, very strong. They challenge, if anything, which was crazy, but nonetheless, they get away with it. Mavericks now looking for this convergence onto the street side. A bit of a pinch potentially set up here. That's not ideal. By any stretch of the imagination, that Eric Boom is going to fall to Sukri before he even makes it out of bank. He spawns back up, and there's going to be another push coming on through here. Rafi watching the back, finds Sukri. Good hold so far from Originals. They're getting close to 200 points here, Bryce. You're getting dangerous for the Mavericks.
They certainly are. It looks like Mavericks are being slow and steady, but now comes the stack. They have the bodies. Rafi gets one. Eric Boom desperately throwing nades out there, trying to get Rafi, but Rafi is more than equal to it. Locks it down. Michael going to get that inside as well, but he will be challenged as he tries to throw that new clip in. It hasn't worked for him either. And Hawkeye will come away with a two-piece. And Mavericks, for all their patience, all the time they took to get that one to work, has been rebuffed with no points on the board. We are now going to P1, and you can see it looks like the Originals have full control.
Just about as well. Need to win this next flurry of gunfights. Hawkeye should find one at the vehicle at the side street, but does get traded out. Originals are in control here. They're on the side you want to be on, but there's plenty of time left for Mavericks to turn this round. This is not undoable for Mavericks. Not impossible by any stretch of the imagination, but you need to start winning your gunfights in mid-map. There's a good start. A couple do fall. We'll start making the push through street, which I'd imagine Sukri is going to start doing. You need to try and flip these spawns if at all possible.
Well, you can see they're doing a good job for it as well.
Wow,
they
how is
have
this
the
happened?
opportunity. And it's going to be Rafi who tries to hold something here for his team. Takes down Eric Boom. Looking for Michael, doesn't see it either. But needs to try and stay alive, eventually going down himself. But this could come down to the wire here. This is not an easy break. Mavericks have already held this once. And they'll now be trying to do it again. Hawkeye, though, look at the flood coming through street. The Originals do have bodies in this area. Eventually, they all go down, and now Hawkeye is here. Finds Sukri. Looking to stay alive. Tries to find Vikel. He goes down as well. Now, the Mavericks can't actually win it here, but they won't want to let the Originals in at all.
Yeah, that's their problem. Yes, okay, they cannot win it here, just about. But they cannot let the Originals in at all. They can't really give up too much of the scrap either. They need to get it to a point where Originals can't win, and then you start thinking about the next. Vico's done well, though. Finds two. That's a clean break. You got to push out of your Mavericks. You got to go now. If you're Originals, what do? Do you kind of just chalk it up? It seems as if that's what they're doing. Yep, they are. That's a lot of time over, though. They're going to be so close, Bryce.
It's dig-in time. You can see
Look at the
Rafi
spawn,
backpedaling. Oh, that's terrible. They're going to now have to try and hold this one as well.
Wait,
You
can they win it?
They are
Oh,
going to get... It's a tiny bit of scrap. He's left it. He doesn't want the spawn. And it has spawned Mavericks back there as well. Great play to recognize they just couldn't give it up. You can see now the pressure the Mavericks are under. Unbelievable from there. Vikel getting shut down. And
Huge.
that's a shutdown at bank as well. This is going to be a foot race. They have to basically just sprint straight at the point now to get in and contest. And they're going to try and hard force the front. This is horrible position to be in. Rafi's about to come under fire. Players streaming down the stairs. Mavericks manage to get into L. They get one off the hill at the same time, and they manage to get the points. Grad now trying to hold this one down. Hawkeye there at the same time, and they are flooding back into this one as well. The Originals fighting tooth and nail for this after Mavericks break the front, and Hawkeye doing the work on L, and that may just be enough, and eventually Hawkeye comes through one again. The 4 streak from him will win the game. Unbelievable tooth and nail fight there at the end.
What a game one. Fantastic between these two teams, but I mean, that's the problem. When you lose all of that scrap time that was potentially there on that P2 rotation, they just have to send it through the front door with your Mavericks. Originals hold on, but that was scary for a second. There's 4 bodies straight through the middle of the pillars. I mean, in that scenario, you've just got to hit your shots, but my goodness me, what a start to this series. It's going to be Originals to take the first map as well. Fantastic game and a fantastic setup for the rest of the series, Bryce.
Yeah, it certainly was. And of course, we're going to watch that last 45 seconds again because the pressure really came on. Keep an eye on the mini-map here. As you can see, Mavericks tried to get in a position to break this early and got completely shut out. At this point, when the hill switches, they've only got 18 seconds to do something. And they call, sometimes controversial, they're going to hit the front. And this is horrible to do so. Look at the amount of players from the originals here. How on earth they ended up getting through. But it will be Hawkeye who comes all the way from back where he's watching Street over to L. He's already got a kill there before. Comes through and makes sure that any pressure coming from the Mavericks doesn't relent.
I mean, they've just done so well to hold it, though, originals. 4 kills from Hawkeye. That's absolutely massive from him. To find those kills with the SMG as well, yes, okay, you need JRs to be lined up and finding those shots from library. And the thing is, from Mavericks, they know that they have to make that push, but originals know they need to make that push. They know where they're going to be coming from. So difficult to defend at times, but very well played from the original side. They will take a 1-0 lead in this series, but it was so back and forth. Honestly, you really couldn't tell who's going to win that game at any point up until the final moment. So it sets us up very, very nicely for an Express Search and Destroy next. Raid Control will be 3rd. Garrison and Raid 4th and 5th if we do need it. Originals with a really good start.
It certainly was, and I think you are right. That game could have gone either way. Both teams pulling off great holds, as well as just fighting for that spawns. And I think that was the story of the game, realistically, when you look at it here, is the team that managed to get their rotation in and managed to just get a nice setup usually ended up taking the majority of the time. It sounds like classic Hardpoint, but in real world terms, it's actually quite difficult to do that consistently with how well-versed teams are usually at breaking these hardpoints. But originals slightly better at it, of course. Express Search and Destroy up next, Ton. How are you feeling?
I mean, if they can stop Super getting multiple 1v3s, the originals should probably win it, to be honest with you. I mean, that was... I'll never, ever... That was one of the craziest Search and Destroy games I've ever casted in my life. That was mental in the finals with, of course, Mavericks going up against Elevate. But, I mean, look, they're exceptional circumstances that probably won't get repeated multiple times. But at the same time, you know, we know he's got it in his locker potentially, but... Yeah, let's wait and see. If you remember rightly, though, Bryce, yes, those 1v3s did happen to force that round 11, 2 in a row, if I remember correctly. I remember. And then they absolutely chuckied round number 11. So who knows at this point? Who knows? They won. They lost the easiest one that they could have won.
Yeah, it does speak volumes, though. Obviously, like when you take that game in its full context, yes, Super doing amazing things is great. We speak about it on social media, we hype it up, obviously we get excited while casting, but 1v3 shouldn't really happen, right? First of all, shouldn't really happen, and second of all, if you've got a player who has to be in that position, you've made multiple mistakes during the round. It doesn't, winning a round via a clutch doesn't say you're good at S&D, it says that you've made many mistakes in S&D and somehow pulled off something ridiculous, which is why we talk about it so much.
Yeah, so you've made mistakes to get to that point, and obviously the mistakes have happened for the 1v3 to happen as well. Yeah. It's like, nobody at this level should get 1v3'd, really. It should never really happen. It's, I mean, what the percentages of a 1v3 are so low, especially with the ability to trade, etc. Okay, well, we've seen one in the final game on Raid as well for Rafi, but that was 2 very quick kills, and all of a sudden it's a 1v1. You know, it's when it comes down to trades, that sort of thing, yeah, but... And the situation that we had for Mavericks last time around, absolutely no doubt they should not have happened. And, well, as you mentioned, though, they don't want to find themselves in those situations either. They'll want to make this a lot cleaner.
They certainly will. Well, let's have a little look at how this one is, in fact, going to go down. You can see bomb already being planted. And big setup for B here from Mavericks. The originals. The problem we usually see on Express, by the way, with this is getting all the way through the flank and trying to pinch this bomb site. It takes so long that the execution is very, very quick. Speaking of execution, Rafi just takes his head off, and already somehow they forced their way back into it. Rafi going to check the brick here, looking for the play down low, finds Eric Boom, and one last player is going to be Vital, gets traded out, and that was pretty clean, Tom.
Yeah, it was a very, very nice retake. Furious finds 2, so does Rafi. And I think you just get caught out by that original shot from Rafi. I think it was Super that he found the head top of. And then all of a sudden the setup kind of breaks. You haven't got anybody watching from tickets, and it just becomes very, very difficult if you're sitting on either side of the tunnels. Tough one. Good shots from Furious, though. It's an SMG, everybody. 1-0, though. Good stuff from the side of the originals. Hopefully that momentum from Search and Destroy up against Hot Tub Meta is carried on into this Express.
Well, let's see. Let's see if that is going to play out that way. At the moment, we can see the originals on the attack this time around. Though not towards B. It's going to be a big showdown here, by the way. Both teams going for that ace. There's 2 players there as well. Hawkeye throws an A. Does eventually trade out his own death. And now, both teams are aware. The other team are in the area. Grad sees them and decides to get out of dodge. It's a rethink here from the originals. Trying to figure out how they want to play this. And I think Rafi's just going to try and get some exit kills.
He's done really well. Set themselves up in that position smart enough to know that the transition over towards B is eventually going to come, but he finds an early Christmas present nonetheless in a kill that comes over. But are they going to be expecting the double flank to come through? Originals are set up deep for this one.
This is where it gets a little bit difficult. Don't have the information or the numbers to make any mistakes here on this retake. Super checking bridge. Michael trying to check this play down low. Finds grab, but doesn't matter. The originals walk away with that one. It was a little bit easier for them. And even though retake from the originals last time round, it's a very different situation when you have numbers coming into B.
Yeah, so hard. I mean, in what world is that an easy retake? 2v3 in that scenario. 15 million places the enemy team could be. Good start from originals though. I like the transition over towards B. Rafi plays that one well on the catching people off guard. Always find that these players who are good at playing on an island on their own, the teams follow suit and find rounds to search and destroy.
See. Oh, interesting. Hawkeye just rips that asunder. And now that bomb is going down, but it will be Claws on the flank here. The pinch is going to come in. He may end up picking up an easy kill. That Michael goes down super easily. Eric Boom up top. That nade's going to go in. Knows he's there at the same time. Has to get out of there. And look at the players coming through. Keep an eye, though. Sucre has managed to get out of the flank, and they get 2. Somehow it's going to go 2 versus 1. Sucre left alive.
Got grenade.
Rafi's going for the defuse. That nade's gone in as well. They have to try and challenge this. Grad has to get out of here as well. He's going to slide for Rafi, and he gets him. Unbelievable.
Oh, my.
Challenge. Oh, my goodness. Sucre in a ridiculous turn of fortune, and we have got to see that again. Gets the nade onto him. Grad gets out there. He just managed to get Rafi. And then, of course, Grad has to re-challenge. Probably still weak and goes down. What a clutch coming in from the patience to hit that flank ton.
Mavericks and 1v3s on Express. Name a better duo. What? Why does it keep happening? Why have they just got the ability to do that? The ability to first find themselves in a 1v3 and then the ability to pull it off. Different players as well. My goodness me. Here we go straight into the next round though, Bryce. 3 players coming in. It's going to be a B hit, obviously. Rafi finds the first kill though. Vickle will trade that one out. Hawkeye's dead. My goodness me. Such a fast pace being set now. Continued from the end of the previous round right into this one. It's going to be another Mavericks round. My word. That was 2-0 not 30 seconds ago.
That's pure gas, that is. They feel themselves, the clutch coming in certainly lit a fire under the Mavericks. And they just went for it. They challenged everything. They didn't care. They just went and flew at them. And maybe the originals were just caught half a step off after that last round. But we will find out if they can regain. All tied up here.
It's funny that the lad who found the 2 1v3s in the previous game is actually 0-4. So, I mean, it kind of doesn't make much sense, but nonetheless, very different teams, I suppose. A bit more of a conservative defensive setup this time around, and it's going to allow Mavericks to just force their way through. Mavericks are feeling it right now. What on earth is going on here?
They're not, Original's not winning a gunfight now. It's like that entire round just flipped a switch.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, Mavericks really feeling Express S&D. Simply pretty much just happy to gun down anybody who comes towards them. Hawkeye in a horrible situation now. They know he's here. He's got no health. He's being pinched. And Michael actually ends up waiting. Just has a little hop, skip, and a jump behind him.
Potentially. Yeah, streaks potentially there for Vickle. We'll figure it out. Nonetheless, though, I think he's just waiting for his teammate to clean it up rather than him. He's closer to streaks. Well played, though. Another really... Yeah, that's exactly why. Sucre, 6 in a row.
Wow. That is certainly a turnabout. After the first 2 rounds, the originals looked like they were very much in control, but it has slipped away from here from a resurgent Mavericks who don't seem to be missing at this stage of the game. And already Michael coming through, takes Hawkeye, gets out of there. And Eric Boom's here at the same time. Rafi eventually will get down, and Vigo actually ends up coming back. Super gets one as well, and they just keep getting gunned. Mavericks are on an absolute tear in this search and destroy. They can do no wrong.
It is like that 1v3 has just turned the tides completely. I don't know if it just gives them that pace and they sort of say, well, let's continue it. And they have done. And Originals have not been able to deal with it one iota. This has been...
It's like cranked. It's like once they get the kills, they just activate cranked mode and they have to go about 1,000 miles an hour and get another kill. Otherwise they explode. Obviously it's not, it's search and destroy. But that's exactly how the Mavericks seem to play it after that clutch. They are pretty much just dominating their way around the field. Super with the pre-fire, nothing going to come out of it. Super looking towards Train. I don't know if he saw Grad. I think they did, and then Grad challenges and gets stuck. Just not going their way at all here. The Originals just being beaten.
I think if you're Originals, you find a way to slow it down somehow. Okay, you're on the defense, you kind of need a mirror match in a certain kind of way. How is Super found that? My word. Mavericks are a different level of cracked.
This is oh, here we go though. Hawkeye finds. Oh, he found one. He found one. And that kind of sums up the Originals S&D at the moment here. Looked like they were going to have a great time, and then really didn't.
Hawkeye's in a situation that... how has he done that? Nonetheless, Hawkeye's in a situation there where you can potentially hold his shots, but it's one of those things.
He waited. He saw the two. He could have lined them up, and then
a little bit, yeah.
And he went for the spray transfer, but he hit it too early, and then had to kind of get it back and retreat. And yeah, he's going to be kicking.
We don't see enough ninja diffuser attempts anymore, Pricey.
It's too difficult. It's too, especially with 4 up all round.
No, but people don't expect it. That's the thing.
T1 tactics from Ton there. We'll see if any of these players take that on board. But another big fight coming out. 3v3 here at the moment. Eric Boom up top. He's going to see Hawkeye. They know he's here at the same time. Incoming challenge. Eric Boom gets one. They're going to try and challenge him. It's Grad.
Wow.
That's Eric. Oh, eventually he will go down, but that will be traded out again here. Rafi trying to get something for it, and Mavericks win. That's 6 rounds in a row. That's 6 very fast rounds in a row. And I don't know what else we can say about that one. It seemed that the Originals were going to keep on ticking, but then they just kind of stopped.
I don't really know what to say. They just ran through them. It's one of those search and destroy games that you kind of just go, okay, great, fantastic play, Mavericks. I mean, at that point where you maybe lost a few rounds in a row, but it's like 3-2 or 4-2 if you're Originals, you sort of say, right, okay, well, maybe meeting them at the bomb site and just hammering each other isn't maybe the best tactic, but they just kept the pace with them. They kept trying to match that pace consistently. And okay, it might have worked the first 2 rounds, but it wasn't working in that situation. And I mean, it is all swung on this 1v3. Maybe Sukri's just feeling it. I think it was a 1v3 in the end. Obviously the 1v2, but
it was a 2v4 at the very least. That's the worst part.
Yeah, it was, my word. And then after that, well, they just got run through. That's essentially what happened.
It is known as witnessing a breakdown.
Oh yes. That's a thing now, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah, that is the thing, apparently. And I mean, I will say this: it just seemed like after that, obviously Mavericks were playing very, very well, but the Originals, it just nothing seemed to want to go their way. Like ever so slight COD timing, gunfights and trades would just go a little bit wrong, or they would get pulled about a little bit too much. But, you know, I mean, I said it summed up, right? He challenged it, he went for it, decided to eventually get stuck, right? As he went through Train, I think it was Grad. Just didn't even work for them at all. Like, how on earth, when it just falls apart like that, do you regain? And unfortunately, they weren't able to. Maverick took full advantage of it and just hammered them.
Yeah, that's one of those where it's the momentum. When you're winning that many rounds in a row, you start going into rounds feeling invincible. And when you're at that point, and then you continue to win those gunfights as well, it just builds and it builds and it builds. And I mean, look, we've both been on the end of it in whatever level competition we've ever been in, you know, like GBs, etc., etc. You start losing rounds and you can't stop losing them. It doesn't matter what you do. And it's a horrible feeling. You can't really do much about it. So there you go. You find Mavericks now back into the series. And they could have feasibly been 2-0 up here, but heading into raid control, it's very much one that can swing either way. Interested to see if Mavericks can continue this momentum heading into this one, because if they do, and Originals do not match it, this game's over in full.
Well, we'll have to see. We will have to see if that is the case then, because I don't know. I feel like something just changed, and I want to put it aside for now because I feel like it's not a good opportunity to really judge the teams off that S&D. Yes, it went very badly for the Originals. Yes, Mavericks were great, but it seemed like something that is just one of those things that happens in Call of Duty sometimes, where a team will just blow the other team out after a mistake like that. Let's go into the control. Fresh slate. Both teams are tied up anyway. We've still got 3 go modes to play. On board with Vital at the moment here as we come to that big fight around A. And originally, the Originals looking like a different team.
It's exactly what you needed. If you're the Originals, a nice little break to kick off your defense. Doesn't mean you're going to win the round, but it's nice to get those gunfights under your belt, isn't it? Good shots coming in. Once again from Hawkeye. Brad in the most powerful of positions to shut down any push coming out of Mansion, but it isn't a hit coming from Mavericks, the typical raid attacking strat, of course. And why do you say that? 3 men are heading towards B. Oh,
this is a good opportunity here for Mavericks, actually. They're going to get onto B. They've got a good amount of control coming through. Sukri also shutting it down. I mean, really need one person in the kitchen. It would be a complete setup, but Eric Boom doing great work, though. Money is a weakness, and Furious Cloud says, thank you very much for allowing me to break that one down. And I did say kitchen would be the problem, and it was. It was more of a problem than I thought it would be.
Gonna try and continue cooking something up here, Mavericks, but can't quite get their way through. I hope he cringed at that. I know he did. Furious though, trying to make the push out here. I need to try and get some mid-map control once again. How has that happened? Furious manages to break on through. It is on its way here for Mavericks though, but it hasn't been clean. It hasn't been plain sailing by any stretch of the imagination, and Original's looking for a retake here, but Hawkeye and Rafi falling. It's precariously positioned this round here, Bryce.
It is, and realistically, it's going to be a problem. And Klaus tries to get through there, but he isn't going to. This should now be pretty much a slowdown. You can see the Originals now trying to go for position. Probably try and get someone in towards kitchen or around the back just to slow it down a little bit. Mavericks don't really have the lives, but they will get ace. They have the time. And this will be their first big attempt at it. You can see them now going slow because it will benefit them to try and get a good push here the first time around. And now here comes the pressure. Grad under it, and he's going to find 2 already, and that shut down. That is exactly what Mavericks didn't want to happen. A complete wipe.
Yep. Brilliant for the Originals, especially with those lives now in your back pocket as another little advantage here. Don't know if they would have expected the 4-man round laundry, but it's a complete mid-map retake here. You've got to expect somebody's in kitchen, though. Surely Eric Boom finds one. That's it, though, but Vikal is going to be there, and they kind of meet on the backside of jungle. That's a hellish grenade from Grad. Just going to slow it down, but I think if you're Mavericks here, you wait on the rest of your team pushing through Mansion. That's why they're not making the push yet. I say that. Big gunfight.
Oh, it's just going out well for them at the moment here. You can see Super hitting
worked.
basketball. Got to try and hold it down for them. They don't have any lives left, but Super does get one. Trying to get onto this point with 21 seconds. What a gunning! Gets it, but eventually gets taken down. There'll be no respawn for them now as Rafi takes position on it. Sukri gets one, but it probably won't be enough for 1v7. Down they go. The Originals take that round. But it was a little bit sweaty there. Big plays from Super, but just not enough.
Yeah, you look, he set himself up in the spot where he needs his teammate to win some gunfights up towards Mansion. If that happens, they've got a pinch. You're laughing. Holds it down well, but yeah, you needed to work on both sides of the coin. Give Claus the gunny as well. I like to hope he was a little bit weak there. 1-0 though to the Originals. Good defense in the end for them. Scrappy, but it works out for them.
Okay, well, let's see if this is going to be any cleaner here, because they will not get into the attack. Big around if they can get it, but I suspect the Mavericks don't have an awful lot to say in that regard already. Big push coming through. Hawkeye just guns Sukri. And we players in pillars and P5. You can see them now trying to make a little bit of a push. Eric Boom getting one, but there are still too many bodies here for the originals to make this a big problem for them. They may even choose to stack this and get it over and done with.
That's gone. That is gone. Great start here for originals, but I mean, how many times have we seen teams though secure here quickly, but still not really have too much of a sniff at B? So, job ain't done yet.
This is the push. This is the very first attempt. I mean, they have time and lives to play with in abundance. That doesn't always mean everything, as you said. Hawkeye, though, will get one player down, and then already looking to push on to B. But you can see the Mavericks trying to take map control away from them, and this is always difficult if you are the attacking team. You split up, you don't have full control. Players spawning everywhere, but Grant and Rafi get two. Rafi comes on to stack it as well, and Klaus gets another one. There's only Sukri who's got an opportunity here. If he gets up top, he can try and slow this down. The second tick now rapidly coming through. They're going to have to do something. Sukri gets one. Eric Boom's will come through money. Players coming through basketball as well. Rafi and Grad throw it down at the same time. Klaus is looking towards the back, and it's now going to be Super. Super has to challenge at some point.
How?
He does. And that is going to be close, but it is done anyway. The original stack the site, and Mavericks can't respond.
I mean, Super's in a difficult situation, but he absolutely needs to contest that. Weak or not. Finds the 2 kills and doesn't make the push up, but you know, the mistakes have already been made to allow originals to be in that spot. I mean, yeah, you look at the slaying point. Yeah, Super's doing a great job. Rest of the team, not so much. Not so much at all. Combined 17 kills to match Super's 12 of his own.
We'll see here, because now, realistically, it's all the originals to lose. We know defense on this map is, I want to say, a lot of fun a lot of the time. You know, it's going to be difficult to lose as long as you can keep those trades going through, but Mavericks, let's see if they can dig themselves out of this hole. Already Super trying to make some shots down towards top laundry. Gets onto that A point. Doesn't have support here, and there are bodies against him. So now look at that player on the outside, and it turns out it doesn't matter. He's going to completely gun here. Look at that player coming out of top laundry. And look at his head on a swivel, just looking every possible direction. Looking for Rafi as well. Rafi eventually gets away. And it looks like this may be a give up here as Grad just comes under the smoke show that's Super right now. 5 streak, 15 and 7, and being perfectly honest, they may even start talking about baiting him out for streaks on this map, because realistically, they do need that ace up their sleeve.
Yep, they do. It's worth it for Super, especially on this map. Yes, okay, there is a lot of cover around the bomb sites, around the control points, but the actual control points all outside. Sukri finding those kills as well is absolutely ridiculous. Now, Grad at the back, you can see they're trying to bait for Super. Eagle's just trying to bait for him. Yep, there you go. Ticks in at B as well. This is bad spot for originals, but perfectly turned around by Mavericks.
Comes off the back of Super here, and obviously, you know, getting that last point and giving the push he needs for the artillery at the very least, but gunfight still coming into it as well. They haven't got an awful lot of time and a lot of ticks coming through. They actually haven't got a single tick on B yet. You see Super just firing at everything, just randomly spraying every single area, looking for Hawkeye, as they now try and reinforce desperately, but there are many members of the originals here. They try to lock it down. Grant having to find a kitchen. He's backed up by his teammate. Klaus going for it at the same time. They pack off, and Eric Boom manages to play him like a fiddle.
Mavericks are still close to this, but it's not quite done. It's like that final kill they need to come through. Oh my god!
Rafi keeps doing that.
My goodness me. I mean, the streaks are available here for Super. I would say originals did burn some of themselves as well, and look at the lives remaining. Mavericks should still be able to get into this one, but they want to do it without burning those streaks. In an ideal world, they are getting trades. Trades work in their favor, Bryce.
You see Grad about to come through the back, but he needs to make sure he doesn't die here. Does eventually get away. Rafi picks up another one. Hot tub. Eric Boom is more than equal, but Klaus has come through, and you are right. This is now, what I believe Sir Alex Ferguson dubbed Squeaky Bum time.
It is. But the thing is, 45 seconds is still a long time for originals to not die. Not one of them can fall, really, here. And that's where Mavericks will use this advantage. There's one, though. Still 35 seconds remaining, so a wipe here, and Mavericks can still have time. The problem is with originals, you need to play this like a search and destroy. Rafi finds another kill. They've got time, and he stuck him. I don't believe it! Look at the flank, look at the flank, look at Furious on the flank.
This
How?
is ridiculous.
How have
This
they
is
won it?
ridiculous. Oh, the perfect nade, the perfect time, the perfect hold, and the originals are pretty much in prime position, but I may have spoken too soon. There we go. I think it's a 1 versus 2. Michael just spraying everyone now. Hawkeye, they're firing shoulders. They eventually will go down. I worried myself for a second there. I was pretty much riding it as off, but 3v3, and it will be the originals who 3-0 Mavericks. What is going on with these two teams? It is exciting the entire way through.
Mavericks should be winning that round at least, though. I mean, you've got streaks. You're up about, what was it, 10 lives at one point? You need to capture B, that's it. And it just comes down to Rafi.
They pushed out, didn't they?
Yeah. It almost felt like they were just slaying out when they could have just all jumped on B and it would have ticked up tremendously quickly. If you fall, you've already got a good life advantage. You need one more tick. It's
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if all jumping on is the play, but 2 rather than 1, I think may have been a better play here because they were going for map control and fighting, but they had a huge wave of kills. I wonder if we'll see the same situation here on the side, but they did such a good job. Mavericks played that so well, and then the originals basically shifted into another gear and under the gun, under that much pressure with no lives, essentially to play with, just held the fort, just dug in and just refused to be traded. Rafi had a great game, by the way. We talk about amount of kills and stuff, but I think I saw Rafi pick up a 2-piece or an important kill over and over again.
Stick there. Oh. I mean, he kind of guns him anyway, but I think, Victor's already like, well, I'm already dead. Yeah, that's a huge moment, especially when he finds those kills towards the back from basketball. Really, really well played. I don't know which way this one's swinging now because, I mean, yeah, okay, the first map, super close. Very, very close game. Search and Destroy, not remotely close. Control, not remotely close. Who's feeling better going into this map number 4? I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I mean, yeah, okay, you would, well, yeah. You'd like to think Original is probably, they're going in it with the lead. They need to close out the hard point. They were able to do that in map number 1. Yeah, okay, if they can go on and do it again, fantastic. But if you crumble here, then you sort of look back to that Search and Destroy, see you were 2-0 up, lost 6 in a row. Yeah, okay, fantastic work on the control, but can you carry that over into Garrison? We'll see a raid Search and Destroy if we need to with map number 5. Garrison coming up next, though. I'm expecting a tight one. I really am. We've absolutely flown through these last 2 maps. But heading into Garrison, it's anybody's game, this. It really, really is.
It's not just anyone's game. I have no idea what to expect. Like, just think about the control we just watched. There was many times you thought, oh yeah, Mavericks are doing a great job here, and then nothing. Same thing on the S&D. You thought, the originals had it in the bag. They were playing so well, and then Mavericks blew them out in the water. I don't actually know what to expect. The first hard point was just a very close game. Both teams playing very, very well. Mavericks made a little bit of a comeback, but ultimately couldn't win out the game. The next 2 maps have been one-sided, but doesn't tell the entire story. Like, you are right. No idea what's coming here in map number 4.
Yeah, but I suppose it is our sort of limit test this week, isn't it? Trying to gauge where these teams are kind of at this moment in time, because I know people will be like, oh, well, how come you don't know how good the teams are? But it changes up so often in challenges, doesn't it? It's kind of just like, right, well, who is the best team? Let's just find out. That's all we can do. Yes, okay, we can have our predictions, but these are 2 teams with, well, there's a roster change on the side of Mavericks. Of course, the Originals are a new team into this in a certain degree. Obviously, we haven't seen them Elite Challengers as a 4 before. It's hard to gauge. It really, really is. And then you see a series like this, it's kind of just the hallmark of Cold War so far. You don't know what you're going to get, but whatever you get, it's usually pretty entertaining, and it has been so far. And I'm quite happy to go into map number 4.
Yeah, me too. Well, let's see how this does play out. Me and Tom can only speculate what we're going to see. And truth be told, I don't think either of us will be close to the mark because anything could happen. And in Call of Duty Esports certainly does. Well, let's see, though, as we go into this. Currently, the Originals 2-1 up over the Mavericks. But we are going to jump on board with them first. Sucre T1 on the sticks.
Back into it once again. You know, everyone's kind of had their moments during this series, and it's just going to be about that again. We looked at previously on Moscow, you know, we know how rotationally heavy that map is. This one is quite similar in that sense. Hardpoint in general on Cold War is kind of that way. Whoever wins these rotations is usually going to win the map specifically, or at least pick up the most points on that hardpoint. Originals, though, with the better start here. Hoki 3-0. Just trying to kick things off. It's all about green control, though. It looks like it's going to go over towards Mavericks just about. Sukri finding the kill over here, and they're set up quite nicely.
Oh, Grad's going to get one as well. This is a problem here, actually, for them. Eric Boom going to try and play it. We'll find Grad as well. And the Originals had a little bit of a chance to break through this one, but not at the moment. You can see players coming through. Eric Boom holding it down, but will get dropped. Players come from the other side at the same time. Mavericks in control here, trying to get it as well, and Sugri says nope. Shuts the door on Grad. Players all around, but Mavericks doing a great job for this one. Look at the spawn out, though. Grad just spawned all the way by P3.
Ideal spot for the Originals. Mavericks should be able to pick up the majority of this time. Can they hold it, though? I think, you know, as the era's gone on, as Grad finds another stick, I mean, these Semtexes are literally latching themselves onto the Mavericks at the moment. As time has went on, though, with P2, it has become one of those that teams have found ways to break through. Looks like Originals are just going to give up the ghost on this one, though, and they will set themselves up here for P3. Again, we've seen it was so heavy towards who rotated early, who would pick up the majority of the points, which is kind of how it should work, but it shows that these teams can hold their setups very, very well.
Well, here we go. This is where we see who makes the points here. If Mavericks do somehow get through this, they will go pretty far into the lead, but at the moment, Eric Boone trying to do everything, and they do not manage to break any spawns here. And Mavericks do have this tendency to slow and stack, and I think that's what you're seeing now. Look at this patience coming from them. Vikel trying to find this player he knows is going to be in garage. And there's players everywhere. Vikel gets out of it. Eric Boom does get a kill, though. Look at the slow push coming in. Eventually, Mavericks take control. They get the spawn out of the teams. Vikel comes around the back. He finds one, finds a second, and now it has been flipped out. 30 seconds left to go on to this one, and Mavericks should hold it.
Not what we expected. I mean, I specifically spoke about teams being able to hold very, very well, but that time around, Originals getting blown off the back of the map, essentially. Very well played from Mavericks. They get aggressive. They get up in their face. They have to back down, and they continue to be aggressive. It's going to be a decent little lead for Mavericks now, heading into P4. Furious going to fall as well. This is a nice transition for Mavericks. The much better start for the Spanish side.
It certainly is, and maybe struggling a little bit here. And that's what I was going to say. If Funchy gets a kill back onto the board, he was sort of a 3-0 start. Has struggled since, but that's what happens when you don't have rotations. We're trying to fight for this one tooth and nail. You can see the Originals trying to wrestle this back out of Mavericks' hands. But just trying to figure out where this player is. Grad eventually going to take him on, but Vital is equal. That should not have been allowed to happen. A player challenges, dies, and then you have to pre-aim and eventually get taken down. And it does look like maybe Mavericks have found another gear to go into after control.
You know, there's still plenty of time in this hard point, Bryce, but at the same time, you're right. No way Vikel should be finding those 2 kills. Eventually has fallen down, though, and it looks like the Originals have some sort of control, and they have actually forced Mavericks to spawn out towards P3. So, nicely done. Originals now in a good spot to pick up some decent time here over towards P5. That ticks in, and Mavericks spawn out. Eric Boom towards the back is the only one spawned towards back bricks, and Originals maybe going to struggle here to get some sort of control. Going to be a bit of a scrappy point by the looks of things.
Well, you can see now, big fight coming in. Vikel is going to be able to get that one, trying to lock them out of this. And both teams pretty much dancing around the point until they get full control. They're not willing to commit here.
Yep.
And it will be Mavericks again in the driving seat, though. Looking for it. Vikel doing a great job to hold out here at the edge. He's going to be seeing he does eventually. Oh, that was certainly nerve-wracking there for the Originals, but it will be them to eventually get the time. 20 seconds left to go as we go back to P1. The rotation started again, but Mavericks are in the lead.
We've seen this kind of game in game number 1, though. There was a decent lead for one team, and then it would swing back, get close, and then nobody could pull away. So plenty of hard point left to go. The second rotation is usually a lot more important to who comes out on top of the map. Mavericks once again fighting for this P2 rotation whilst P1 is ongoing. just started to tick in. Originals ticking those points up themselves. Good shots once again by Grad. The trades go out in favor of Mavericks. They have every single part of control you'd like to have here on P1. Apart from those ones.
They certainly do. Well, that happens sometimes, and 37 seconds left into this one, but even though it is still relatively early, they will be looking for this rotation. They know how important it is. Grad just laying here in the corner, about as far deep in as he could possibly get as his teammate trying to fight around him. It's not going to work out, though. That's going to be a complete wipe. No control here for the Originals now as we look towards the next set of rotations. And you can see they're pretty much going to struggle here.
Yep, it's a tough one. P2 rotations are there. Everything on P1 going up towards Mavericks. Oh, it stinks of a game number 5. Bricey, still a lot of hard point to go here. Originals, though. Yeah, they still need to try and break this.
That's the thing here. Mavericks done such a good job of not only wrestling P1 away and taking that time. Could have given them a little bit of a cushion, the Originals, but not only blowing them out the map, but it's such a hard push, right? This is a hard break anyway. But bearing in mind where the Originals had to spawn because of Maverick's push, they now have to not only fight through mid-map, but also break the back of this hill while somehow trying not to give up spawns for the next one. It's a terrible position for them. Everything continues to be a problem. Eventually comes flying out, and you can see Rafi now trying to contest. Nade's coming through him as well. Eventually gets that kill. And if he can stay alive, it looks like teammates coming to back him up here. Not going to be enough. 20 seconds going to go the way of Mavericks. And it will be on the Originals now, who are in the worst position of being down 65 points to hold P3 down to regain in this.
It's doable, though. You can really pick up a good amount of time. Look, if you look at the previous rotation of hills, they were in this setup at the same time. They were in this setup for P3, and they messed around. And that's the difference in the scoreline right now. It swings one way. If Originals can lock down P3 here, they are right back into the game, but Vikal's going to find Hawkey in the middle of the map. He's going to find a second onto Grad. Spawns at the back are coming in, but Super's already got them lined up. This is surely a break coming through from Mavericks, who are just feeling it on a different level right now. Sukri find the kills. He spawned everybody out. Only Grad towards the back. Mavericks breaking in far too easily once again.
Could be.
That's the well.
Yeah, he has. Could be the death bell ringing for them here, realistically. I mean, admittedly, even with that amount of pressure coming through, well, they haven't died ton. Somehow they still had control of it as well. Grad trying to do the last little bit, but it looks like the last 10 seconds will go the way of Mavericks. This game is not out of contest yet, but the Originals are going to find it more and more difficult as we get closer to the end of this one. Hawkey almost didn't get super, but will hold on. And the Originals need a big hold here. Will do them so much work just to make sure they don't have to worry about scrapping for every last second.
Yep. It's felt like it has been the story of Mavericks pretty much dominating the map for the most part. Look at the score. For all it's a decent lead for Mavericks. It is not insurmountable, but they are going to blow them off the point there completely. Originals get forced away. Mavericks just running through them at the moment, and it's just becoming so difficult for Originals to do anything. 3-piece there, though, will help things out. 25 seconds here. Yeah. It's typical casting curse, really,
summed up, ton. Like,
yeah.
Originals can't do anything, wipe. Mavericks look like they're in a good position, wipe. Originals have a chance, they get wiped. It's crazy how back and forth these teams actually are.
Sukri with streaks as well. Gonna make things a little bit more difficult for Originals. The task was already quite hard. Super finds 2 more. Eric Boom with another top green. Give him the gun as well. Can't quite find it on the Hawkey. But Originals now don't quite need a perfect game, but they need a very, very good one to start coming their way. And a second Vical finds 2. That's another wipe. This is game, surely.
Yeah, I think so. Unless the Originals can just win every single trade coming through, but Boom doesn't want to seem to let them, and you can see them struggling here to even get out of their spawn. They know there are guns are laid against them every single step of the way here. Klaus eventually gets one, and they just have to push. Grads gets a second. Suri gets gunned as well, and this is what we're talking about, son. You think it's all over, and somehow the Originals dig deep and find at least a reprieve for just a second. They are going to be having to... This is mad. I just don't know at any point if they can turn it. Originals now need to play like gods. They need to basically ascend.
They need to keep all these this time. They need to stop them picking up 14 points on P1 and lock in the rotation to P2. If they can do all that, they can win the map. Easier said than done, though. Ericboon trying to make the push out. Does find one. Rafi with the shots, though. It's a good start, but then this is something else you've got to contend with. Artillery strike has been meticulously placed, and there's one, there's two. Doesn't quite find the third, but that's going to be the break for Mavericks. 9 points away.
Well, the Originals had a little bit of a hope, a glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. Unfortunately, it turns out that was a boom of a cannon as the artillery wipes them out. And it will be Mavericks to take this one 250 to 189. And we are going to a game 5 again here on the broadcast. And that was a crazy game. I will say this, right? For what we kept saying about Mavericks doing a great job, the Originals certainly managed to kind of come back into it and make it a closer game.
Yeah. It's like I said towards the end, you know, we've been concentrating on Mavericks so much, but then you look at the actual scoreline and we're not actually too far away. We're one good hold for it becoming a good game. So look, I think if you're Originals on that one, you're a little unfortunate. I think, you know, both those times they rotated over towards P3 early, they got broke very easily. You think about how how time works. You're picking up the third. If you are Mavericks, you're pushing around. You're picking up 30 points from that when you really shouldn't be picking up anything. It's kind of like a 70-point swing, if anything, isn't it? It kind of goes in one direction when it should be going the other. So it swings in the opposite direction. It's one of those that if the Originals hold P3 both those times, they could arguably be in the lead still right now and possibly going on to win the game. It can come down to those small differences.
That was it's such an interesting hard point when you look at it, right? Like here as we go through the replays, like you see Mavericks so far ahead, and we kept saying, you know, the Originals are in a good position. They need to hold this to come back into it. They kind of don't, but somehow walk away with it, keeping the game close, and that just kept happening every time they were on the back foot. They seemed to just be able to push out of it. Unfortunately, there just wasn't quite enough, and especially like that, I think they might have done, you know, could have possibly won the game if it wasn't for that artillery there at the end. They had a good chance to hold P1, but Mavericks do it. Mavericks do enough to take us to a game 5.
Yep, more than enough. Fantastic stuff from them. But I mean, this is just being blow after blow after blow, but each different direction, hasn't it? Is a strong search and destroy for Mavericks, a ridiculously one-sided control for Originals, arguably relatively comfortable game there for Mavericks. I have no idea which way this raid should. Honestly, if one of the teams won this one 6-0, it's not out of the realms of possibility. At this point, anything could happen in this series. This is why we absolutely love the Challengers. Seeing every single game, you don't know what you're going to get, but the majority of the time, it's insane.
Yeah, I have no idea what's coming. No idea what's coming. I didn't know what was coming in that one, and it turns out to be a very entertaining hard point. I don't know. Obviously, like, the easy call here is to give this one to Mavericks. Not only did they win the S&D quite handily last time, but they just won the last map. Theoretically, everything is in their favor. But that last S&D, the Originals, to their first 2 rounds look pretty clean. Does that mean they're in a better position here? Does that mean they've regained? The control was great from them. I would struggle to really, even like, trying to, you know, ride the fence on this one. It's not even the case. It's genuinely, I don't know who's walking away with a win here because of how this series has been.
Yeah, I mean, look at the evidence that we have. One hard point went Originals, one went Mavericks. The control goes to Originals, Search and Destroy goes to Mavericks. I mean, you could argue that the more beneficial piece of evidence that we have is the fact that the first S&D was won by Mavericks, but with the fact that it was 2-0 to Originals, Mavericks find a 1v3, Originals heads clearly go into the bin, and then they get smoked off the map. That's kind of like, how much do you read into that as far as like search and destroy strategy goes? Like, you know, there was no strategy to what Mavericks were doing in those 6 rounds that they won in a row. It was kind of, well, there was strategy to a certain degree, but it was just hit after hit after hit. So look, it's a very different search and destroy we're going into now. It's going to be on raid. I'm excited to see who comes out on top, but honestly, Bryce, I haven't a clue. Look at it. I mean, it's just continuing.
Well, fast starts here coming through it, and both teams now down to a 3 versus 3. We can see on board with Super now. Rafi's going to go for the challenge. Eventually, he has to get out of there. And they have taken P5 control as well as Vikel watching over B, but Hawkeye is pre-aimed in and ready. Push though coming from Money could be a problem for him. Has to try and get out of it. Doesn't eventually get a single kill either. And you can see Grad at the back of Basketball is going to go down as well. It's now Rafi in a 1 versus 3. I don't know how confident he's going to be about this one if this bomb goes down, and he's eventually going to drop anyway. Mavericks open up with the first round.
Yeah, nicely done. Starts a bit crazy, which kind of resets the teams in a way because there's only a kill apiece. Makes it difficult. Hawkeye. It's a difficult one. You kind of say, oh, right, yeah, should we find them one? But it's to snap your aim in that direction. And then when two come out at the same time, it's kind of a bit of indecisiveness. Which one do you shoot? In the end, they shoot back at that little bit quicker. Eric Boom with 2 kills, 1-0 to Mavericks.
Well, let's see. Let's see how this is going to continue to play out between these two teams. Of Mavericks, I was going to say Magics there. Have they found the magic? We will see, but already Rafi gets that first blood. Very important here for this, but Michael trying to get into a dominant position, looking for a cut back. He's going to find a player as well. Rafi goes down. Michael somehow getting not a lot of life, but will be enough. Now the B push coming in at the same time. The original's deciding to change track here. Did Sucre see him? I think he did. That's been called out. It will be a Mavericks retake. Now this bomb's gone down, Ton.
See what Originals can do. Can they hold this down? They've got Hawkeye in the depths of Mordor back towards the carriage, ready for any sort of flank, but he can position himself very, very quickly top mansion. He's going to have to do that really quickly.
Down for the defuse. Hawkeye's going to have to challenge. He knows there's going to be people looking for him as well. Yeah, and they planted the other side, and Michael's just going to sit there and say, hey, an awful lot of metal and cover between me and you, as well as the guns of my teammates.
I'm not sure why they've planted the other side there.
I don't think they had. I think they're worried about water steps control. That's the only thing I can think of.
Possibly. I think the thing is there, though, if they've planted the other side, you kind of need to make that on-fly's decision. If you're Hawkeye, yeah, you're watching the flank, but case in point, if your teammates fall towards the front, you can't do anything. Like, if it's planted mansion side, you go up there, you peek it, you watch your back, you peek it. If somebody on it, you shoot them, you watch it back. It's kind of a bit more of a simple round, but not the best situation for him to be in. And into round number 3 we go. Mavericks do not let go of that accelerator pedal there, do they?
Well, you can see this time got a little bit better for him, actually. Super in a 1 versus 4. If he clutches this one, though, this is game over. I don't even think I'd let the Originals play the rest of the game. It's not going to be the case. The Originals are going to eventually get a point back on the board here, and they desperately need it to make sure they kind of keep their heads and keep themselves in this.
It's an important round as well. It's a confident round win.
Well, okay. At the moment, nothing too out of the ordinary for a search and destroy here. I'm kind of expecting craziness, and I'm sure we'll see some as it continues through. But on the attack with Rafi and the Originals, you can see the B hit now coming in. Gonna have Hawkeye playing hook towards mid zigzag. Eric Boom, though, we'll find it. They have got information. That nade will put it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter. Eric Boom says, I don't care that you've hit me. Super coming in as well. And the Originals, this push has gone about as badly for them as it could. Already Rafi now in a 1 versus 4. Finds Sucre, and Sucre's got a toe out. And it's not going to be enough. And they all know where he is. Nade's come raining down. He's still trying to kill Sucre. He's checking the back as well. He knows player's going to try and challenge him here. Finds one, flies out. Down he goes anyway. And it's a pretty clean hold from Mavericks. Eric Boom just went for the chow and says, all right, enough of that. You've come far enough.
Yeah, that's not an easy one for Rafi to try and complete, is it? 1v4 from that. It's around number 5, though, and Mavericks walking away with this one. It just feels like Originals cannot keep up with the pace when it starts to get set. It's not so bad when you're on the defensive side of things. If you are reading it correctly and you are on the right side of the map, you can get your Krig up and, well, kind of wait for them to run into it. But it's difficult to do if you don't read it correctly and you have to retake. The site's already gone. You've probably lost somebody as well. It's not ideal at all here for Originals. They're kind of being pushed around the map a little bit.
And this is a lot more patient between these two teams here. You can see Mavericks looking for a stack towards middle. Eric Boom, you can just about see him as well. And Klaus says thank you very much for that one. And now Mavericks don't have anything. Don't have the bomb. Don't have real map control. And also don't have the numbers. It's now 1v4. Sucre to try and pull something out of the bag here. They've already given away his position as he furiously runs around towards Drive. Gets challenged. And does actually get the kill. I mean, he got a kill, but 30 seconds left to go and an awful lot of map to cover.
Mavericks 1v3. We've been here before. Maybe not in this kind of situation, mind you. Did he spot him? Yep.
Oh.
3-2 then. Yeah, not much better. Much better. I said on the defensive side of things, if you can sit back and get your positions and get your gun up, then yeah, okay, you can deal with that kind of pressure. And they do so. Very well played. Call out.
I said nothing out of the ordinary. It seemed a weird S&D. Like, I can't really feel any sort of rhythm from these two teams about how they're playing it out. It seems to be very much fluid about the strategies and how the rounds are playing out as well. But we will find out how the Originals do here this time around. Brad's going to be taking not only the bomb, but it looks like their first push into Zig, and Super trying to get that spray down. Nothing happening elsewhere, though. Both teams just playing for position, and Grad throws out another nade here. Will be the Originals who have to try and make a move here at some point, looking for a pick desperately.
There it is.
And boom again.
Now what's the plan if you're Originals here then? You still got the bomb at least. This is the kind of.
I think
what
it's the same plan.
like
I think it's wait for a pick, but they
yeah,
they don't really have any good positions for it.
I mean that makes no sense. Why is Sucre flying out there, and why is Hawkey there as well? You kind of had map control though the whole of the round. If you're Mavericks, you should still win this round nonetheless. What a strange game of search and destroy this has been.
Eric Boom has deflected 2 pushes towards B now by himself, just by playing around Tiki super well. Hawkey trying to make a little bit of a clutch here, though. Has to go for the bomb. Players have already seen him. He can't run back. He needs to run back to the bomb. He knows players are here. He's going to go for the challenge. There's one block top. He finds him. He's going to look for the second as well, but just unfortunate. That is an unfortunate turn. He tries to get out of it. He tries to see if a player's on the side. Didn't realise the other player was right next to him. Could have made that as well. And they needed it. They did need it.
Yep, they did. They did. It's unfortunate. Eric Boom with 3 in a row, and that last one very important. Four to 2 now. Mavericks looking to secure this one. 2 more rounds is all they need, but we know how quickly these search and destroys can turn on its head.
Well, you see now. Another slow push here. And I think the way they're distributed, they're going to be looking to try and switch into the A bomb site. Already with 1 player ring does mean they have the opportunity to at least hold pillars away and push across. They're now going to be thinking about Laundry. Can we get through? Have we got control? And who's watching the flank? You see them all go through. Klaus is now calling this out madly, saying, hey, we've got an awful lot of pressure coming through. Raf is reacting to it. Finds one out the back, but it will be shut down. Hawkey gets the trade, though. Soon comes for him. It's another trade now. Back to a 2 versus 2. The Originals try to get the advantage there from the players they had in the area, but now we go round and round again as both teams rotating between the bomb sites.
Originals will know what's going on very quickly here. Yep. The transition comes through. Is it going to be through mid? Yes, it is. Sucre's watching. Doesn't shoot either. Super gets the bomb down. He's just shouting, stay alive, stay alive. I'm behind them. Sucre with the 2 kills. I hope we get to see it. Yep, sees them going across. And Super's just like, okay, I need to run.
Patience, though.
And there you go.
They played that so well, by the way. Obviously, he must have screamed the call out. His teammate got off the bomb. But also to not shoot, to hold it and come round for the flank and get the 2 kills. I would have been spraying everything. I would have found out almost instantaneously, but I'm not on the Mavericks and I'm not in Challengers Elite. Let's see if the Originals have anything left. They are on the attack. They are hitting A as furious as they can. Already Nade's going into top laundry. They're going to know the information. They know a player's there. They're going to try and hit it. Do they know that there's two here as well? Trying desperately to figure this one out. He's trying to get him. Eventually, Rafi will with a second nade, but it will be Sucre up top. Grad eventually gets it. It's now advantage to the Originals. They try to get another round back here. Bomb going down.
It's a hard retake. Eric Boom and Super, especially when information like that is being given. It's a good shot, but not as good as Hawkey's. Eric Boom falling now. 1 versus 3 for Super. You've got 3 people staring at you. You should get traded out even if you find one. Yeah, rock hard place comes to mind. Originals find around 5 to 3. Still some decent level of comeback needed here.
And this is the great push into laundry here. They just had bodies and nades, and they threw all of it at it. They managed to clear it out. But it's still very much on the Originals. Mavericks still on series points. Win this S&D, they win the entire best of 5. On board with Sucre. We'll also pick it up. And it looks like a big P5 push. They're going straight down the middle. Guns everywhere, though. And it will be a team kill come through. And that does mean the Originals have the advantage. It will be a 3-2 in their favor. And the A push coming through at the same time. Rafi is more than equal to it. And now Sucre in a 1v3. If the Mavericks ever needed some more magic to try and get another clutch in a dire situation, this would be it. If you get the bomb down, it's plausible. Finds Klaus. That's already now 1 versus 2. 54 seconds on the clock here, Tan. And it is very, very plausible.
It's a 1v3. Somebody on the side of Mavericks. It's always plausible. Oh, I mean, not when Grad's gonna gun him like that. He's just playing his life well there, Grad, as well. Sucre knows he needs to challenge it as the second shots are gonna come through as well. 5-4 now. Getting closer for the Originals. Getting much, much closer.
Well, we thought it was over. It certainly is not. The Originals determined. You see there, Grad just playing his life. Very well done, actually. He had to try and buy time for his teammate regardless, even if he lost it. And that's what he was planning on. Rafi to clean up it if he did eventually lose. But can the Originals make this comeback? Can they hold fast? Mavericks just need to convert 1 round. Already lost 2 back-to-back. And they will be on the defense this time. So, onus is on the Originals here. Rafi will take bomb, and this is an A hit coming through. It's aggressive. They're going straight forward. There's going to be nobody here from the Mavericks to begin with. They've chosen for a B hit, so this will be a hard retake. I wonder if the Originals are going to know or go for a full rotate.
The longer it takes them to get the bomb down, the better it works out on Mavericks' favour. The jig is up, though, and all of a sudden, they should be well aware of where Mavericks are. But saying that, there's plenty of times that teams will just posture back up towards back jungle side and then go for a retake at laundry. Don't know if they'll be expecting 3 from Art's side now as the push starting to come through. Somehow they've got through. Completely uncontested. He's going to be shot by Sucre, who's laundry side. They still haven't got a clue that there's 3 of them on the site. My goodness me. Grand and Furious have got to go huge.
Oh my goodness, it's all on Klaus. He's got to play this perfectly. He knows the player's going to challenge him. He's looking for the same player and it's Michael. And he will win that gunfight. Klaus just had to make 1 more, and you can already see the Originals leaving the game, as that will be Mavericks to win this 6-4 and 3-2 in the series in the end. Somehow they get out towards ring. Unbelievable plays coming in there at the end. And Ellen, what a series.
I am just mind blown how Sucre got that first pick right there from laundry when 2 teammates are there. I just, wow. What a series indeed. I mean, just between both teams just going back and forth, but I'm just still mind blown from that last surge. Wow. Wow, what a game. I just...
Yeah, that's a good way to sum it up. That was it was pretty crazy all the way through, and that's the story of that game as well. Like, didn't know what was going to happen. At one point, I thought, well, Originals are making a big comeback here, but Ton, that was pretty crazy out of the gate. But before we look backwards to talk about that one, let's look forward to see what else is coming up in Challengers Elite. And I'm sure many of you have whetted your appetite with those 2 games. They've been pretty spectacular if I do say so myself. We started off with Elevate defeating Amelia Strays 3-0. Then Mavericks took down the Originals in a pretty crazy game, back and forth between those two. Of course, coming up though, a little bit of a break while Ton regains, and then we go over to the North American region. UT Crew versus The System, and then Sobriety Gaming versus LAG Academy. I suppose, Ton, could probably let you speak here. Now I'll throw some dirt on your name.
Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you. What do you mean? I do all right during these breaks. I have a nice little lull. I don't look. The very first time that we did one of these nights, I tried to sleep in between, and it was the worst idea possible. So now I just chill. I'm not going to do anything crazy. I'm excited for the American side of things, though. North America, we know how many players have been siphoned up into the franchise side of things, and it always mixes things up. You never know who's going to... It's just the same as Europe, really. You haven't got a clue who's going to come out on top until it actually happens at the end. So, yeah, it's always crazy COD. Crazy COD. We love it.
It certainly is. And, of course, that does, slowly but surely, put an end to our European region here. But don't worry, because plenty more great Call of Duty to come. And while we've opened it up with a 3-0 and a back and forth game, we all know that North America holds its own secrets. New teams, new Stage 4 Elite, and a new chance to be crowned champion. All that and more coming up right after this very short break. Do not go anywhere. We will be back with Challengers Elite North American region right after this.